Hello. Sorry, I didn't. We already have two people. So as it says in the title, it's a just street. I'm gonna be studying today. Ah, that squirted in my eye. I also have an orange. I'm trying to cut it open. I haven't had an orange in a very long time. But yeah, no, I took my ADHD meds today, so. But yeah, no, I don't know why they gave us an orange. All the fruits to give. I mean, I guess because you need the vitamin C, especially because I'm not going outside. Ow, that hurts. Maybe this is why I don't eat oranges. Because they just hurt me. I also need a bag for the trash. Hold on. I'll be back. Using this bag for the peel. But yes, hello. I currently can't hear anything at the moment. But, it really is. It's too much. I feel like I don't think I've seen your name before, Davilo Fermati 64. I don't think I've seen you before. No, but you've been following. Oh, okay. I don't know why I don't think I've seen your name. Maybe you haven't caught a live. I don't know. But hello, welcome. It's difficult. Why am I even trying? I mean, I need food. They gave us a sandwich today for lunch. It was okay. Not very delicious, but that's fine. How are y'all? Oh no. I dropped the orange on my desk. Now it's gonna be sticky. Fuck. That'd be why. It's like, I know I posted it somewhere. Well, I know I posted it on my TikTok. This is so much to do just to eat an orange. Also, the bottom's weird. It, like, the stem is in the hole of it. Okay, I'm first cutting open my orange, and then I'm gonna start studying. I have my notebook. I already went through one chapter. Or not one chapter. I went through one module, which was 30 minutes. And it really felt like it was kind of useless. It's for my psych class. And I mean, technically module 1.1 is the intro module. Here and there, not too often. I'm currently going to be studying intro to psychology. It is I need it for my neuroscience degree. Plus, I enjoy psychology anyways, but I have an exam for it tomorrow. I have my first one out of 4, which is really nice, though, because I won't need the notes in the future. I just need them for tomorrow. I know it's gonna sound bad, but it's an online test, so I might as well use my resources wisely. I feel like I'm cutting off a lot of the orange. Not meaning to. What if I just... Also, I'll follow you. So that way, if I'm ever live when you're live, I can raid you after. Orange is good, at least. But yeah, I have no nails, so I can't exactly cut it open. Cool, now I'm following you. Let's see, what do you stream? Do not know what you streamed, but I'm following you now, so. Yeah, I'm not excited. But I mean, it should be fine. It's only 3 chapters. I also have to read the textbook later, but... I promise it's the side that's open. I'm not biting into the skin. Not weird. Well, to that extent. I kind of like this idea of a study stream. Maybe it'll actually make me, like, focused. Actually be productive. Or maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. First, I must open my orange. Spit at me. This Sorry, I'm gonna have to go back and clip just me not being able to eat a fucking orange. I just haven't eaten one in a while. Damn, I have 3 viewers for this. That's kind of insane. Didn't know people would want to watch a studying stream. But I'm okay with that. I'm pretty chill with that. I also did post it on my TikTok like a few seconds ago. That probably didn't do anything. But we could see. Yeah, no. Okay. I feel like y'all are also gonna hear it in the background. I mean, you'll definitely be able to hear my professor. I don't even know why I tried with the orange. I mean, to be fair, I kind of need food. Oh, no, I got on my notes. Shit. But I have an entire... I wish, but I don't get to pick what fruit they give us. Well, I'm in quarantine because I was exposed to one person who tested positive. We love to see it. Really do. Really love to see me being so careful and not going to any parties or anything. And then getting exposed by one person. Just shows my luck. Why do people eat oranges? Such a hard fruit to eat. I don't get it, but okay. Let's see, for streaming ones, do people normally, like, show their screen when they study? I feel like I shouldn't, just for, like, privacy reasons. I don't know. I might give up on eating this orange in a bit. Damn, I'm actually very impressed by the fact I have 3 viewers. Bug. How are y'all doing? I'm about to study in like a little bit, but I'll still have my eye on the chat occasionally. Yeah, I don't get the point of this. That's just clip me not knowing how to fucking eat an orange. It's fine, I give up. Okay. Oh no, not the knife. Yes, here are my notes so far. There's not many because 1.1 was literally introducing the course essentially and saying, why do we study psychology? But now I feel like I have orange in my teeth. Ooh. It's fine. I'm gonna set my phone down or else I'm not gonna do it anymore. How are y'all who's watching? I'm sorry, the ruffling of the bag is probably loud. Okay. Cool. How are y'all doing? You can chat in my chat. Especially just because I can see it in the corner of my screen. Let me make sure y'all can still see me. Yes. Excuse me. Alright. I'm gonna lower the music even more.
Well, it depends on what year you are in school. But I bet a fair number of you have had knowledge and reality from the philosophy department. Or
Oh,
have
I'm
had
taking that
another
now.
another philosophy course. And so you probably recognize there's a relationship
I
between
recognize
Aristotle
none of
and
this
Plato.
because I'm behind on
Plato
the notes
is
for that.
the teacher, and Aristotle is the student. And
Ooh, nice. Thank you for the support. I appreciate
in
it
a
a lot.
lot of ways, Aristotle and Plato agreed in their philosophies.
Did
But
Plato?
but
Yeah, no, it
one
was
one
some other
important
dude who didn't.
contrast, and we're back in the 4th century before Christ. One important contrast is that Plato, in his writings, really focused on the idea that we have knowledge. We are born
He
with
was
a ton of
very,
knowledge,
very expressed about
and
that.
what we need is someone who's wise to bring that out, right? So Plato famously had his dialogues, and the dialogues were between Socrates the teacher, and Socrates' his pupils. And using principles of logic, Socrates could help his pupils come to some new understanding, some kind of
Oh,
epiphany,
that's something that we debated
just
in
through
class
discussion.
recently.
So the assumption really is that the pupils, the
Was that,
students,
oh, hold on,
kind
wait,
of
now I
are.
have to pause. That was something we debated in our knowledge and reality class, was about how, do you always have the knowledge and just need someone to bring it forward? Which I personally argue that no, you don't. Because, like, I know nothing about psychology. That's why I'm taking this course, because I don't already know it in the back of my brain. Having someone to bring it out wouldn't help, because I don't know it. So, yep. That's my take on that.
Already knew this but didn't realize what they knew. They had this information in their heads somewhere, but they needed a wise teacher to kind of bring it out. Now, Aristotle is quite different in that Aristotle is emphasizing the importance of experience, right? So in modern day we would say stimuli. But for Aristotle, and I think rightly so from a psychologist's point of view, uh, we need we need stuff. We need things to interact with in the world, and only through that observation and experience can we really understand things. Can we really come to understand things? And this is important for a couple reasons. One, I'd say it's important for science as a whole because science isn't just sitting and talking. Science is taking observations of the real world around us and recording those observations. I think an Aristotelian perspective is also really important for psychology, in particular learning research, in learning psychology, because the idea with principles of learning is that we are changed by what we experience in the world around us. Our behavior is influenced by our experiences. And so I think Aristotle was enormously influential on modern psychological thought. And there are many ideas that are taken from his writings, but by now, um, 24, 2,500 years ago. Okay, so now we move up to, you know, uh, moving up to the 1600s, we have Rene Descartes. And Rene Descartes, I think, is very influential on a lot of the history of psychology because there's this, what do I want to say, sometimes controversy, certainly interesting speculation about, but certainly strong.
Also, I'm pausing it again. This is a 20-minute video based on 7 slides. What the fuck? To respond to my friend. I hate studying. As I'm gonna make sure I keep drinking water. Because if I don't drink enough while I'm on my medication, then I get nauseous. I'm going to go insane. I already feel like I'm gonna go insane by being in quarantine. But it's fine. I feel like I am in prison. Cannot leave. I mean, it's good that I can't leave, but... Okay, I need to go.
Thoughts about what's the difference between the human mind and the human body, if anything? So Descartes introduced this idea of dualism, among other things. The idea that uh, some human behavior is really quite mechanistic, or you could say reflexive. That, you know, you stimulate a human being in a certain way, and he or she is automatically going to respond the same exact way every single time, right? If you cool down, if you make a room really, really cold, the human being is going to do something to get warmer. Putting
Better. What? Well, it makes me think I need to make my room
putting on
colder.
a blanket, or if possible, turning up a thermostat, etc., etc. Or if you think about really honest to goodness reflexes, right? If you blow a puff of air into my eye, I'm going to blink, and I'm going to blink every single time. Or if you know, put a needle in the bottom of my foot, I'm
Ooh,
going to recoil from that, and I'm going to feel some pain. So those are honest
I
reflexes. For
don't
Descartes,
like thinking about that.
the idea is that all non-human animal behavior is reflexive. So rats, dogs, uh, um, deer, elephants, whatever, uh, they act with respect to reflexes. They're just machines, and they are, as machines, their behavior is infinitely predictable. They're subject to natural laws of, ecology and evolution, and there's nothing about their behavior that wouldn't really be predictable. Human beings, a lot of our behavior, according
Hmm.
to Descartes, is also mechanistic and reflexive. However, human beings alone possess a mind. And there's something about a mind where we can talk about, free will and choice. And so there is part of the human condition that is not predictable. And so he kind of got into this,
I love
got
just the
people
animal
into this
music in the
idea of
background.
mind body dualism. And I'm not saying that I agree with a Cartesian way of thinking, but it certainly was influential on
Hmm.
later, 19th and 20th century psychological thought. Last two people I want to talk about. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. Uh, the beginnings of psychology. Who was the first
Yeah.
leader of a psychology lab?
Wait.
Well,
My notebook's dumb and it won't fold over without me having to open it completely because the pages get stuck. Wilhelm. Sorry, I'm just. Okay, 1832 to 1920. Whoa, the roaring 20s.
well, I think the first psychology lab was really Wilhelm Wundt, German, and did some very, I want to say, it's certainly basic research in the way that I defined in the last presentation, but also basic in
Oh,
that he did relatively simple um, studies on what it's like just to experience things consciously, what it's like to experience the most simple of stimuli. And so the main method that he used was introspection, which is basically just asking someone how they
hmm.
are experiencing the world. right? What's going on in your mind right now
No, I've done
is
experiments for that,
basically asking you to
but for
introspect
extra
and
credit.
tell me about it. So I'll give you two examples of a structuralist way of thinking
Examination,
that involves introspection. A
mental
very simple example, and
processes.
then
Oh
maybe
yeah,
one
we're up to
that's
3.
a little bit more
Nice.
interesting. So here's a simple example. Let's say you go into a lab and um, someone asks you
Hello,
to
third viewer.
hold out your hand and close your eyes. And um, you do that, you comply, and they put an orange in your hand, and they say, what are you feeling right now? What are you experiencing right now?" And you'll say, "Well, I'm holding an orange," and they'll say, "Well, yeah, duh, I know, of course, I gave it to you, I know what it is, but tell me what it's like. What do you feel?" And then you start to describe, well, here's what the texture is like. It's kind of smooth, but I also notice some small bumps and things like that. Or and this is how heavy it is. This is how much of my palm it takes up, or how hard I have to you know uh, grasp my fingers in order
Oh, I
to
should probably write down
keep control on
structuralism.
it. And so you are describing through introspection what it's like to hold an orange. Okay, fine.
I mean, I know which that is as well, just because I've not experimented by like creating them myself. But for my psych class, the one I'm studying for at the moment, if we do, we can participate in studies by others, not other students, but like graduate students and things. And if we participate in it, then we get credits, and I can earn up to 10 points of credit. Study of the structure. Immediate conscious experience. Immediate. I cannot spell. Even though it is right there. Immediate conscious experience, not experiment. Experiment. Oh, I need to do the BERT thing also. That's what they're...
Boring, right? That's silly. But let's think about it maybe a slightly more interesting example, also from sensation and perception. Suppose that
Hi, Alex.
I brought you into a big auditorium, or maybe I brought you into a hallway that was very well lit, and certainly very well lit, maybe with um, fluorescent lights or very bright white lights. And I asked you to, for a second, just look up at the lights. And then all of a sudden, I turned them all off at once. All the lights went off all at once, and they all went dark. And then I asked you, well, what's that experience like? What do you see? And if you really think about what that experience would be like, it's not just that, well, I saw a lot of things and now it's pitch black. It would actually be over several seconds something a little bit more complicated. If you're actually looking at bright light and then the lights go dark, you'll probably see some kind of glow, like
Yes.
akin to an after image of
Damn, I'm
that
hurt,
brightness that
Alex.
you were experiencing.
Hey, I said I was
And
studying,
also,
so...
if you're in a very dimly lit or in almost pitch black
I'm sorry, my psych professor
room,
talks so fucking
it
much.
will be extremely dark or maybe
This
entirely
does not
black
need
at
to be that
first,
long of a
but then your
video.
eyes will adjust, right? You'll habituate to that, and your well, we know
I need
now
to have
your
better
pupils will
posture.
open up, and you'll start to see some things like vague outlines of walls or
That is
whatever,
true.
but you will experience some.
Can confirm there's a light in the hallway that stays on the entire night. My room is bright. He does. He also has no arms. It's kind of funny. David, our friend, he pointed it out to me because he's also in my psych class. He was watching the intro video and he was like, wait a second. He looks like he doesn't have arms. He does not have arms. Yeah, my psych professor doesn't have arms. It's kind of funny. But, yeah, no, I also have a light that stays on outside, It's so bright. No, he doesn't have arms. It's just the shoulders part. Like, we were looking at it and it was like, it's just the little nubs. And we were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I know. We like to joke about how in the world does he make videos. We're horrible. I need to keep studying, but I don't want to. But I only have, hold on. 1, 2, 3. I think it's, no, 3. I think chapter 3 has 3 videos. I'm not sure. It'll be fine. Who do we still have? We still have Solid. I never know who I have anymore in the chat, but it's okay. Oh, Kyle responding. Kyle might drop out. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I might withdraw. Okay, so most people call it like the points. So if you save up a bunch, I mean, you can look at them. You can waste them. Well, because most people call it, I know one person I watch, he calls the little points eggs, because his whole channel is about like penguins and stuff. So it's just like watching it, you get a bunch of rewards and stuff, and depending on what channel, they have different rewards for each thing. So like, if you manage to save up, I mean, it's free money, it's just watching it. So like, if you have 7,500, then you can send me a message and I'll add you back on Snap, but that'll be a very long time. Dude, they do not give me money. They're just something like, it's just an interactive fun thing for my like channel. So like, people can still interact without having to pay money, which I really like. I think it's a really good idea. But yeah, Kyle might withdraw from the semester if he's able to, because mental health is not going great. Oh, if these did give me money, that would be so nice. But no. You just tell me to chug some water, make sure I'm sitting up correctly, highlight your message, which I need to take out the 251, just because I thought with the 251 I can make it appear on the screen. It cannot, because that's with bits and donation. Kyle, possibly. So, that's fun. But, I have like a no cursing one, so I won't be able to curse for, I'll make it 5 minutes, because that's difficult still. Yeah, no, his mental health is not going great. Which, I mean, I'm glad that he's taking care of it, but it's like, damn, really sucks to see. You know what I got in my fucking Snapchat memories today? I got a memory from 2 years ago today of the very first time I had to take my antidepressants. I was like, damn, I've been doing this for 2 years. That's really tough. I don't know, I really want to get off of them, but also I know that I can't just because it is helpful. Does that mean wait, I think that means I have chronic depression now. Hold on. I know, it is a very long time. You're right. So less severe, and it's major depression. No, I don't. Why are you refreshing? Stop. Yeah, it's a very long time. What was you say? Separate. You can report me. Oh no. Ah. Please don't. I don't think I did. I mean, they'll look at it, and it's not like I did anything bad. Those do suffer also experience periods. It's not. So then I don't have dysthymia? I don't know how you pronounce it. I even did a research paper on this. I should know. Should I just look up, what is it called when you have depression for 2 years? Because I know 2 years is a mark for something. Damn, so hurt. Persistent depression. Oh no, it is. It is dysthymia. Dysthymia? I don't know how you pronounce it. Damn. Look at that. Wow, I really collected it. Okay, I need to get back to actually studying. Damn, I collected chronic depression. Gotta catch them all. Am I right? I am comedic genius right there. Damn, my stream said fuck you. Right as I was being funny. Let's see, what do I not need open? Don't need you open. Technically don't even need that open. Okay, and there we go. Somewhat, maybe, possibly, hopefully. Sort of back. Let me close out of like Discord and all of the things. Hold on. We're just gonna exit out of some things. I don't know why it says that it is excellent. Yeah, it's unstable at the moment. I can't help it, I'm using college Wi-Fi. I think it's back somewhat normal. Nope. That was a lie. Do I have my encoder settings lowered? Hmm. Oh well. I'm sorry that it's lagging. I have no idea where the replay setting or the encoder settings are. Okay, that should hopefully help. Hopefully. And in a message also in my Discord. Friend wise. Oh, there we go. And it's back a little bit. It just needs some seconds sometimes. Okay. Alright, I need to get back into studying. I'm sorry to those who had to experience that. Okay. Damn. Is stream elements technically not in my chat? Damn. There we go. Maybe. Yes, I think we're good to go now. Department of... For those wanting to pursue the good degree. Oh, Master of Public Health. I am not a public health person. Surprising, I'm sure. Damn, it's only been 38 minutes. How has it only been 38 minutes? Okay. So I'm gonna pause that and then continue to study.
You'll understand some things about the world around you in darkness because your eyes are adjusting. Faint as it might be, you do see some things. So this idea of structuralism and introspection is, can you just describe what exactly it's like to experience these things? Okay. At the same time, meaning they were contemporaries. Right around the same time, William James started his lab. So Wilhelm Wundt was first. William James came just a little bit after and started his lab and had a different approach that was really emphasizing functionalism. So structuralism and functionalism are
Hold on. So he came about like fucking 10 years after. Yet died 10 years earlier. Huh. Interesting. That actually really is interesting. Functionalism. Study of how the mind works. And why we behave. Think the way we do. That is something I've always wondered. Functionalism is the huge reason why I wanted to go into neuroscience.
But they're very much contrasted against each other. So functionalism is not really describing what we experience, but more explaining why we experience things the way that we do. So maybe in modern day, we might ask real questions about the brain from a functionalist point of view, like why
You're
is
right,
something a little bit more complicated. If you're actually looking at bright light and then
shit,
like what
back.
exactly it's like to experience these things. Okay, at the same time, meaning they were contemporaries. Right around the same time, William James started his lab. So Wilhelm Wundt was first. William James came just a little bit after and started his lab and had a different approach that was really emphasizing functionalism. So structuralism and functionalism are you hear them a lot in kind of the same sentence, but they're very much contrasted against each other. So functionalism is not really describing what we experience, but more explaining why we experience things the way that we do. So
Okay.
maybe in modern day, we might ask
Oh, I
real
love this
questions
song.
about the brain from a functionalist point of view, like why is the human brain compartmentalized? And what I mean by
I'm
that is,
also
why
curious about
are
that.
there certain areas of the brain that are specialized for certain functions? Right? So we have language, speech centers in the
Areas
brain.
of brain.
Why is that? Why wouldn't speech be kind of distributed throughout the entire brain? Or why do we even have two
One.
hemispheres, left and right? What's that
Oh,
about? What does that
see,
do
this is
for
why I love
us?
psychology.
Why is that
I'm constantly
maybe
questioning shit
efficient,
like this.
for example? So that kind of idea, or maybe even before, kind of thinking about neuroscience, something maybe older in terms of
Okay,
number of
I'll move
decades
this
we've
back.
understood it. Why are human beings sensitive to change or sensitive to difference, right? If things stay the same for a long time, are repeated often, we tend to kind of ignore certain details. But
Sensitive
if there's a rapid
to
change, we notice that very, very
change.
quickly. Why is that? So
Huh.
for William James, there was an emphasis
Okay.
on understanding behavior, very different from introspection. Introspection is asking someone and trusting that their information is, objectively valid.
Understanding it.
Uh,
So
so
it's not
now we're
just
looking at
asking them
behavior. What are the things that
to describe it,
observers
but like
can
why?
objectively agree on, as I talked about in the previous presentation? And with functionalism and William James, we're getting to this idea of practical applications. So, how can our understanding of psychological principles help
And a
improve
practical
or
application.
address certain problems
Hmm.
in the human world? Okay, so that's it for history. I'm being very straightforward and trying
Hmm.
to make this easy in terms of how many names, how many dates do we need to know. These early researchers, and before them, the early philosophers, really brought us to a modern world where we have
Okay.
these five perspectives. So I'm taking some liberties here in that if you look at different introductory textbooks in psychology, they're all somehow going to talk
I need to
about.
write these down, I feel. Psycho. Also, 9 a.m. What was it? It was 9 a.m. New Leaf music. So good. Just putting it out there. Psychodynamic. And either he's gonna explain these or it's just gonna be there. And I'm just gonna know words. What they mean, I won't know. Behaviorist. And I feel like that one's an easy one to understand. Humanistic. Humanistic. Cognitive, which that's the one that I'm technically focusing on because I'm not a psych major. However, I am a cognitive and behavioral neuroscience major. So it's like psychology, but more brain. Like functions. Biological. Okay.
Perspectives and the
Hmm.
the interplay between them, the contrasts
Now, will he tell me
between
what
them,
these mean?
but then also the overlap. But there might be some differences in the number of choices.
Don't think he
So,
will.
for example, evolutionary psychology is a subfield of psychology. I have decided that I don't think it's big enough to call it a different perspective. I just don't see a large proportion, like over 50% of psychologists really even think
Evolutionary.
about evolutionary psychology.
Cross-cultural.
So that's an example. Positive psychology. I have nothing against positive psychology, and it's a relatively recent
And
and kind of
positive
modern
psychology.
a way of thinking. I'm not sure I consider it a separate perspective and
I wonder what that
separate
is.
popular perspective. And I might be wrong on that.
I like
That
how he
might be
doesn't
a
even
matter of
provide.
opinion there.
Is he gonna?
But I didn't feel I should
I don't think
include
he's
that.
gonna give me
And
definitions.
cross-cultural is something
Is
that
it in the
I
PowerPoint
think
slide
is
itself?
it certainly is a very, very,
You
very
can know.
important um, direction that we should go in, but I don't think it's necessarily a distinct
I don't think it
perspective
is.
that would distinguish it from these. I think all cognitive psychologists should think about culture in their explanations of behavior. I think all neurobiologists should try to think about cultural differences in how early experience might
Why? Oh, wait,
modify
sorry.
the brain and brain development. So I
Hi,
think
I'm Jimmy. How are you
culture
doing?
it would be great
Welcome to the
if
stream. Currently,
psychology,
I'm just
and
studying
we're
today.
getting closer to
Hold on.
this. We just
Yeah, currently I'm doing a normal studying one today. I've been good. I've been having to do just chatting streams for a while, so you missed out on the exciting Minecraft ones and Among Us ones. I'm gonna be filming some YouTube videos for that, so at least y'all can still get that content, at least. But hello. I hope you're having a good day. I feel like I just missed that message and you left. I don't know though.
we're still
Hopefully not.
pretty far away. If we really understood culture better across perspectives. But what we're going to
So am I
do
gonna have to look up
next
these
week
definitions on my
is
own?
we're going to
Or
talk
is he gonna
about
give me them?
these 5 basic perspectives and how they might explain the same
So he's gonna give me
behaviors
to them.
differently. So we all come from
So to be
different
fair, I
schools
didn't
of
even have to
thought.
write these down.
Because of our schools of thought, we have our biases.
We love it.
So we will, and hopefully you
Really
can
love to
think
see
about
it.
some of this on your own. So I'm not just telling you what these different ones are, but we're going to talk about the psychodynamic
2.1.
perspective, started out very, very early in the 19th century. Behaviorism, the humanistic perspective, we won't talk about a
Okay,
lot,
so
but certainly a little bit.
module 2 only
Cognitive
has
perspective
2.1 and
and
2.2.
neurobiology.
But
All
it
right.
has 15 slides, at
Thank you so
least
much
this
for
time
your
now.
attention. Have a great, great.
Wait, does he? Yes, he does. Okay, cool. He does actually explain. Studying psych. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I have my test tomorrow, and I haven't done any of the notes, which is kind of why I need to. So I was like, you know what? I might as well just, like, stream it. I think that could be a lot of fun. Ooh, Dunkin' sandwiches are so good. I love them a lot. Okay, so I need to read Story of Psychology and Critically Thinking. Story of Psychology. Honestly, I might stream until like 7 or something. Who knows? Just have people pop in, you know. Kind of like it, honestly. Feel like it's a pretty solid idea.
Okay,
Why does he have
module
no
2.
arms?
I want to introduce what we are
I'm
doing.
sorry, my psych professor doesn't have arms, and anytime I see him, it throws me off. It's fine. I'm just mean.
This presentation is one that is pretty important to me.
Okay.
In that, and I have no idea how long it's
Yeah,
going to go.
I mean,
It's
it's
going to take what it takes.
okay. Well, it's not
But
open note,
I
but
think
it
when
is
you
open note
introduce a class
because of
on
the fact
introductory
that it is
psychology, I
online
think you have
essentially,
to kind
and
of
they don't need my camera
simplify
on for it.
like an introductory chapter. For us, it's the prologue, but an introductory
I
chapter that talks about all these
haven't really
names
studied
in different
much
kinds of subfields. And the
ever
way I
because I'm
like
not
to
good at
do
it.
it is to try to focus on.
I'm really bad at studying and getting myself to focus, but I feel like streaming it's definitely made me focus a lot more on studying, which is really weird to think. You would think I wouldn't be able to study and then also stream, but apparently I would be wrong, and so would others. But also, you're lucky you came now because my stream was having some little issues. But yeah, no, I hate studying. I don't think I've actually genuinely studied in a while. I don't think I know how to genuinely study. I don't know. I had to drop one of my neuro courses just because it was a lot of work while also having to take other classes. Which we love to see that. But I promise normally my other streams are much more entertaining than this. I have a lot of VODs. I have VODs on a YouTube VOD channel for this just because Twitch deletes the old ones. after 30 days. But thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna take like small break and look at what is happening on my phone. Not much. Nothing exciting. What grade are you in? I'm Jimmy. Or have you graduated both high school and college? Damn, someone got a whole box of filet mignon. That's insane. Technically, I'm microbiology, but then I'm also doubling in cognitive and behavioral neuroscience because I crave death, apparently. I mean, it's actually pretty good. Well, they cross over at least because since neuro is technically still in the College of Science, and for some reason psychology has a lot of different things, so neuro and microbiome cross over a lot, which is really nice. But yeah, okay. Damn, I don't know how it's already only been 50 minutes. It feels like it's been so much longer. That's insane. But yeah, I feel like when you joined, I probably wasn't affiliated. Actually, no, when you joined, I definitely was not affiliated yet. So, congrats, you get to join a affiliated stream. Yeah, no, I very sporadic with my streams a little bit. Well, I didn't used to be. I used to stream normally at 8 to like 10 Eastern time. Oh, yo, that is so cool. I want to learn how to do. I really want to learn how to code for like games and stuff, but I also don't have any time. So, I want to. I need to. But that is so cool though. I wish I could do that. But nah, you're all good. I mean, I'm currently in quarantine because I was exposed to one person. It wasn't I did not go to a huge party. I'm streaming. I'm obviously not that kind of person. But I was exposed to one person, so I'm currently in the quarantine dorm at my college. We love to see it. Really do.
On the perspectives that have
Okay.
dominated psychology, and I think arguably the perspectives that I'm going to talk about are in some ways, for all of them, kind of alive and well today, or at least influential on the perspectives that are dominant today. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of my take on the history of some of these, but I do want us to think about how modern psychologists, in the 21st century,
But I'm glad you were
might
able to catch a
use each
stream
of these
also.
perspectives
Sorry.
or come from, kind of gravitate more naturally to one or two of these perspectives, and how that might influence their outlook.
Oh, yo, that's so
And
cool.
I,
I
I
also
will
can't
admit,
draw for shit,
I'm
so
going to
that's
talk about
really, really
six
cool to me.
perspectives. I
Wait, there's
think in the
6? He
in the
said
last
5 in the
presentation
last
I might have
slide.
given a nod toward five, but I think we're going to talk about sociocultural as well, bringing it up to six, and I'll introduce
Okay.
that a little bit more in just a moment. But let's take a
Damn.
step back and just talk a little bit about
Oh, I wish I could
what we
draw
even
so
mean
badly.
by a
It's so cool.
perspective. And I think you probably are aware, without me telling you, that when we're talking about a perspective, we're not really talking about facts. So I think facts would be some synonyms, could
Perspectives
be
aren't facts. That
findings,
is
could
correct.
be observations, things that happened, right? But then it's what's the interpretation of what happened. Okay, so the facts are what we've observed, but then our perspectives are going to help us interpret or come to some understanding based on what we've observed. And I think perspectives are going to be relatively consistent or stable. So I think we're going to have
Also, yeah, no, I have
all
a
of us in
Discord.
regular life.
Sorry. I have a Discord if you would like to join it. It's in my little about section. So that way you can be notified whenever I'm gonna stream, as well as I have a little community and they also stream as well. So I need to get it so we're all just talking like normal again, have a fun community. I don't know, but yes, if you would like to join, I give notifications when I'm gonna go live and stuff. So
Like, let's get outside of science for a
okay,
second. In our own lives, we have perspectives on certain things, and those perspectives we probably try to protect them somewhat. We're not going to just change our
Oh,
perspective
thank you.
right away. And we're actually probably going to try to look for information that bolsters our own perspective rather than changing it. But
I mean,
and this I think is
I've tried to draw. I mean, I can somewhat draw, but it's definitely not as good. Like, it's not good enough to where I would be able to go into anything with art. Plus, I'm also not passionate enough with it. Like, I personally really enjoy creative writing, like doing short stories and stuff. So if I had to go into like an artistic field, it definitely would be that.
a good introduction
I
to
love
the idea
writing short
that
stories.
we have to be mindful and admit that our perspectives are going to influence our biases, and they kind of go hand in hand. Well, what's a bias?
Perspectives influence
I think when I was
bias.
younger, and I'm not positive about this. I'm thinking about like being a teenager, like going for me way back. I
I
think I
also need to
used
get
to
emotes. I need to find someone to do that.
almost think
Forgot
of
about that.
biases as I think the only time I really thought about bias was racial bias, or I thought bias and racism were kind of one and the same, and that's not. I'm not positive that's actually the way I thought, but that's absolutely not true. I think maybe racism is a subset
Oh,
of it,
nice. Awesome.
but
That's very
biases
exciting.
are
Yeah, no, now you'll get
general
updated
categories. I
whenever I
think
go live.
a kind of bias like racism is intolerable, and with that said, there are biases more broadly that I think we just have to admit that we have outlooks, and sometimes
What
that can
bias I
be
have?
problematic. And so let's think about the definitions.
I don't know.
I'm not huge on
Oh, yes,
using
I
like
love
a
writing.
dictionary for definitions within a field.
I have an entire journal full of stuff. Hold on, I can grab it real quick. I have an entire journal. I'm trying to fill it up. Oh, yo, that is so cool. And you could do it too, since you said you draw and stuff. But yeah, no, it's 200 pages. I have like, I think 120 filled up. So there's still some spaces in it, but I really want to. Oh, yo, that is so sick. I mean, if you ever produce it or make a pilot, 100%. Send it in like the Discord or something. I'll be sure to watch it. Maybe watch it on stream or something. Okay.
I think as psychologists, I think we can do a better job of defining terms like, I don't know, nurture or, yeah, many different kinds of more specific scientific terms. But something like bias, I think everyone should have some understanding of what a bias is. And what's interesting about a dictionary definition is there are several kinds. So we can talk about the following, and we could even discuss more if we wanted to. Okay, so we have an inclination of temperament or outlook, especially a sometimes unreasoned judgment. Okay, and you can see these kind of different levels of, how bad or how severe are we talking about. So if I said you had a bent or a tendency to believe something, that sounds relatively innocuous. But if I say that you are prejudiced, and now we're getting again toward maybe racism as an example,
Oh yeah. I mean, I
that's
brought it with me
not
to work
good,
during
right?
quarantine, so
I'm saying you should
hopefully I'll
change
fill
your
it out.
prejudice about this. There's something wrong with the way you are thinking about something. But then we have these other definitions that probably you all might not
Huh.
think of
That
off the
kind of
top
makes
of your
sense.
head. We have deviation of the expected value of a statistical estimate from what it estimates, or systematic error introduced into sampling or testing by
Ooh,
selecting or
that's so exciting,
favoring
dude.
one outcome or answer over the others. So I think rather
Oh, 100%.
obviously we kind of have
100%. You should send it in like the Discord or something so I can at least watch it.
two different categories of
To
definitions. We
support
have one
people.
that's really about a point of view, right? And
Okay.
recognizing that
So we're gonna write this down probably. So the one that's prejudice slash tendency slash sometimes unreasoned or inclination of outlook. Inclination of outlook. So this is generally about overall point of view. Overall point point of view. Also, you know what's really weird is because our professor gives us the actual slides. It's not the little, like, you know, in PowerPoint slides, how you can add stuff onto the slide using like little animations, and like you'll click a like spacebar and it'll pop up of like, oh, here's this other definition. He doesn't. So all of the slides are just, the only reason some of them are longer than they are is just because he's added more. So, we love that. Sorry, I was looking at your pledge. That's that's such a good pledge thing to have for your badge. Nice. Sorry. I get so distracted sometimes. Who is texting me? My sister. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, wait. Did they post my basket? Oh, they posted my basket. Sorry, I'm in a sorority, and this week is basket week. For those who don't know what basket week is, it is. Oh, that is so cute. I think I know who it is. Yes. Okay. So for basket week, so in a sorority, I don't know. I don't know how many people know things about sororities. We have it is so you have like bigs and littles. So I would be a little because I just fresh this year. I'm like a new pledge in my sorority, and so we have big sisters. So like it's someone who's like supposed to guide you and stuff. Oh, my professor, yes, very much so. He rambles so much. It is so boring. I hate it. But in other words, I just got, so the way they're doing basket week this year is they have to do it where it's all virtual. Just because COVID on my college campsite for some reason it has decided to fucking spike this semester. I don't know what it is, but they were like, COVID was like, ooh, Q semester? Oh, I was saying, I really like your badge. Like, that's such a good badge to have. I clicked on it because I was curious about the GLF, HF badge thing, but that's such a good, like, thing to support and have a badge for. But yes, sorry. I just got my first basket, so they have to post it on Instagram. So we each have our own little site, or like Instagram things. And my person's says, "Stay trippy, my little hippie." And so I think I know who it is because I've only ever talked about like things with drugs and stuff with like one of the like older girls in the sorority. So I think I know who it is, and I'm literally so excited about this. Oh, because she's the one I really wanted. Fuck yes. Oh, that makes me so excited. Sorry. Very, very weird tangent, but I'm very excited about this because she's the person I really wanted for it. Yes. Okay. But yes, I absolutely love your badge. That's such a good thing to support too. Like, I was reading over it and I was like, but it's a really good thing. Sorry. Okay. Oh, yes. Did you? Oh, yes, I was so excited. Oh, and that's such a cute basket too. I'm so excited about this. Dude, fucking COVID sucks. Oh, like straight up, I didn't even go to a party or anything. I got exposed to one person. Yeah, I'm a freshman in college, so it's my first year. So my senior year definitely was not the best. I missed out on prom and also graduation because although my school did have it, they were not very COVID friendly. Um, Especially because it was Georgia. So no shade to Georgia, um, but my college campus is definitely doing a lot better with it, or at least they were last semester. I mean, it's in Virginia. I go to Virginia Tech. I will say this just because there's so many people at Virginia Tech. But yeah, I'm currently at Virginia Tech. They were doing really good with it. Like, they're really good with the guidelines and stuff. Like, the amount of, like, you cannot have more than, like, 6 people in your room, which is even less than, like, the guidelines for it. But straight up, I went and I hung out with one person, and, like, her and I shared a drink. And then because she had gotten randomly tested. She was asymptomatic, and then she got her results like 5 hours later that she was positive, and I was like, fuck. Oh, I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited. Sorry, I keep looking at the basket because I'm very excited because the person who I'm pretty sure is my big is who I really wanted to be. Sorry, my septum's also bothering me at the moment. I've had it for a while, but it's just, my nose has been dripping. Hopefully not COVID, but at this point, oh, I'm so excited. I don't know, I need to send it to my mom. But I think I've seen that company. Sorry, my sister is texting me as well. I know, it really does, but like, I am excited for once I get out. Yep, it is that one. Hold on, I need to send my mom my basket just because I know she'll be excited about it. Oh, I'm so excited. That the stories on Instagram are fake. I know, I'm very excited about it. Okay, I need to get back to studying. I'm getting very distracted. It is a problem. I mean, not really, but I definitely think I know who it is, and I'm very excited about it. Yeah, no, surprisingly enough, I never thought I would join a sorority. Um, just solely for the fact, like, I literally never saw myself as that in high school. But then, um, because of COVID, it was just so lonely that I was like, you know what, I might as well. And then I did. And now I'm in one, and it's an experience for sure. Like, I've already learned so much about all of, like, at least this one little friend group in it. Like, I really joined, and they said, here's the drama. It's like, okay. Oh. But, yes, sorry. Oh, I need to show my sister the comment on it. Also, Animal Crossing music is such a bop. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but how far behind is my stream? I feel like it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Especially, it depends on what place it is as well that you're joining, because, like, the Greek life here at VT is actually really good. Like, they are so strong about not hazing, and, like, literally so much can be deemed hazing. Like, if they have you, like, DD for them, so, like, designated driving, then you could, like, if for some reason it could be considered hazing. And, like, it's insane to me. So, but I mean, other places, like, I'm sure I don't think if I was in Alabama or Georgia, I don't think I would have rushed no matter what. Oh, that's, I mean, understandable. Sorry, I'm typing. Okay. Alright, I need to get back to studying, or at least I need to finish writing it down. Deviation of the expected value of statistical. Okay. Deviation. The expected value. Of a statistical estimate. Also, I think my food comes between 5 and 6. I can't remember. Methods slash statistics. There we go. I have a cookie. I'm gonna eat some of the cookie. Damn, I enjoy seeing. Hi, Sam Gamer. How are you doing? I don't think you. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I've seen your name before, but hello. How are you? I'm currently taking a very small break from studying and figuring out how to open my cookie. How are you doing? I hope y'all are good. Yes, I'm figuring out how to open a cookie. I'm currently studying psychology. I have my first exam for it tomorrow out of 4, so I kind of need the notes for it. And I decided, you know what, I haven't streamed, well, I didn't stream yesterday, which I meant to, but I was just really tired. So I was like, you know what, might as well do it today, because I know some people do it. I know some people enjoy watching studying streams, especially because I can talk during it as well. So I do not enjoy. I have to take biostat, and I'm not excited about it. I'll take this time to suggest following. I promise my streams are normally much more exciting than this. Or at least the recent ones have been somewhat exciting, because I do just chatting. I don't know, I like getting to know people, especially the ones that are in, like, my little community. There's probably definitely some delay. How much? I don't know. Hold on, we can figure this out. I can figure this out. We can go this, and then I will watch the stream and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh yeah, I'll turn that off. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 8, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Damn, this is a really long delay. So, it's a very long delay, or at least for me it is. I don't know for y'all how long of a delay it is, but I'm studying psychology. It's my intro to psych class. I know I have to take a biological statistics, and I'm not excited for that in the future.
And that point of view can alter the interpretation of new observations that come in. And let's be mindful of that. Let's be aware of that. And when we think it's appropriate,
but yes, you can still type in the chat, and
right?
I will still respond to questions, even while taking notes.
Good thing to say in 21st century United States. We're not open-minded all the time, right? We're somewhat closed-minded.
I mean, bold of you to assume I can't study well, huh? What are you going to assume I haven't tried to do that? Hold on, I have to do this off camera as well, just because of terms of service. So let me make sure I'm off camera when I do this. We'll just go this way. All right. I do the small little smoke out just to prove that I did in fact take a hit. And I use this just because it covers up the scent of it, even though I have a dab pen. So it uses actual wax, first of all. It's not a cart. I don't use carts. Yeah, it's the actual wax. I have the little spoon thing to put it in, and it burns in the coils. But Boulder would assume I genuinely feel more productive sometimes. Why?
And we really need to fight that hard.
And that's on ADHD.
But then the second group of definitions, we're really talking about, research methods, and particularly thinking about things from a statistical point of view. And I'm not going to talk much about statistics, but I think in my next presentation we will talk a little bit about research methods.
How I hate statistics.
Some challenges with respect to research methods in psychology specifically. Okay, right. So when we're talking about perspectives, we're really talking about some of this, that we have to be aware that perspectives.
I have cleaned my room multiple times.
Right or wrong. It's about having a point of view about something. Or about a.
Is he going to give me definitions now? Because he didn't give them to me in the last video, even though he showed all of them.
Behavior or a given mental process.
Oh wait, I need to add that
so
probably.
I kind of fight with myself and I hem and haw about, well, how many perspectives do I want to tell this class about?
Social culture.
How close do I want to stick with the book?
He told us it was 5 perspectives also in the last video,
to say that this is kind
but
of a
not this one.
Perspective to say that there are 6. We could add others. We could add positive psychology. I don't.
I'll take this small little break to remind you to follow or subscribe if you would like to.
Positive psychology as
it is not required, but that way you'll be able to see me stream more. And I promise not all streams are as boring as studying streams. So
that are positive psychologists, and it's a relatively new movement, and I have no problems with it. I think it's great. It's kind of trying to get at what might explain some good outcomes for humanity, like what might help explain resilience.
I just want to know
stress.
The definitions.
And I think that's wonderful, but it's a subset of topics. I don't know that you can apply positive psychology to a large swath of topics in psychology. The text mentions evolutionary psychology, and part of me wants to talk about it. That's my background. I mean, and Margaret Floy Washburn is the first female psychology PhD.
Damn.
And
it's really taken long to get to these definitions.
Kind of animal behavior, and I'm an animal behaviorist, so I
don't remember the animal behavior one. I heard about that.
But evolutionary psychology, I think, again, is not a perspective that the I'm trying to struggle with, like, the majority of or a large.
I think at 2:30 I'll take a small break, go to the bathroom.
Day-to-day writings and their day-to-day research. It's there.
And that's about it.
Evolutionary psychology is certainly there, and I certainly have.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm Jimmy.
To my understandings of human behavior, but I don't think it's as dominant.
I just feel like I'm not being very entertaining. I don't know. You don't get like the full key personality.
Choices, right? This is a little bit psychology according to Kurt Hoffman, but we come up with these 6, and I think the definitions for these are not
going to give me the definitions yet.
I think the definitions and applications are certainly things that we can talk about.
He's really spent like 10 minutes talking about this.
Most psychologists have a common understanding about what these
are.
Fine. Now, which ones are right or wrong, we will disagree on, and I think that's fine and great. Let's start with this. I think some of these you probably know a little about. So I'd like you to take a moment to think, to ponder, what do I already know about some of these? Do I know what psychodynamic?
I definitely don't know what psychodynamic is. I feel like behaviorist is probably someone who studies just behavior. Humanistic, I don't know entirely.
Do I
Cognitive,
know
I know, is
what might be
brain.
some key
Neuroscience is
words,
also definitely
or
brain.
what might be a
Social
person
culture,
or a
I feel
couple
like, would be
people
studying how
who I
somebody
already know
acts
worked in this
in
framework.
society.
Same for behaviorism. Any particular
Can
words
I,
I should
I might
remember
just
about
fucking
this? In some
skip ahead a
ways,
bit.
reactions to and probably objecting to what came before it, right? So behaviorism was sort of an answer or a counter to psychodynamic thought. Humanism was a counter to behaviorist and
So they're all
psychodynamic
counters
thought,
to each other,
etc.
apparently, is what
All
this
right, let's
is.
start with these first three.
There we go.
So psychodynamic, I hope,
Okay.
but maybe I hope I'm sure some of you, and I hope many of you already kind of knew.
Psycho.
Psychodynamic sort of means Freudian,
Ew.
or
Fuck Freud.
psychoanalytic means Freudian, and for Freud, I
Psych-
think a
Freud is a
huge
little
component
bitch.
of this is focus on the unconscious mind. Okay, the
He
unconscious
had
mind,
so many weird
and
fucking
that ain't easy to study, yo. That's I don't know why I said yo.
theories and
That is
stuff that
not
were
easy to
very
study.
much not
That
true. He's
is
also the one who thought that
getting
everybody
at
wanted to
something that
fuck their
we're not
mother.
aware of. So how do you even talk about it?
People don't,
But
that was
that was
just him.
certainly
Hopefully that's
a
just
dominant
him.
part of his perspective, and those who came behind him,
Come
right? Like
on.
Carl Jung, very famously, and others who labeled
Just
themselves psychoanalysts. The idea is, I am a clinician, and I am going to explore the problems, the source of the problems that my
clinical
clients tell me about
problems.
by focusing on their unconscious minds. So that's a key, and I'll try to give you a couple examples, but that's a key term for sure when you're
Due
thinking about
to
a psychodynamic perspective.
conflicts.
And on an exam, I'm not going to just ask you to define these. I'm going to ask you to apply them. I do think these perspectives are important. I'm trying to look ahead
Fuck.
5 years,
Okay.
10 years, 20 years when if you ever see a talk by a psychologist, or if you see, you know, news articles about psychology, I think
I definitely had a
regardless
little
of the
bit,
specific
but
terminology
not very.
involved, I think you're going
Welcome to having a
to
high
read about
tolerance.
researchers who
It's
come from
bullshit.
one or more of these perspectives. Okay, psychodynamic. Very, very, very dominant in you could say late 19th century and the early 20th century. So when Freud was alive, not a popular perspective today. Behaviorism. So we know somehow behavior is going to be there in a definition.
Not
But
popular
but a
today.
key here that you may or may not know is I really want you to think about the importance of learning. So the behaviorists were E.L. Thorndike, B.F. Skinner, huge, and Dr. Geller will talk about Skinner a little over halfway through this course. Hugely influential. Um,
I don't
this
think
was
I've
a
heard of
dominant
Skinner.
perspective in the middle 20th century to when cognitive took over. So 50s, 60s, into the
Observable
70s, behaviorists were really
behavior.
dominating psychology. Why I say
Behavior
focus
changes
on
through
observable
learning.
behavior, this is in direct contrast to focus on the unconscious mind. So the behaviorists, I'd say were I don't want to I
Hmm.
want to overstate this to make it clear, but I recognize that overstating it, I run the risk of oversimplifying. But the behaviorists are reacting to the psychodynamic perspective, that's really a philosophy, right? To talk about unconscious conflicts or something that you don't realize, my client, my patient, something that you don't realize is a source of struggle for you, I'm going to tell you about, right? And I'm going to interpret your dreams, and I'm going to focus on words that slip out.
Don't
That for
realize.
behaviorists, there's no time for that. We don't know what's going on in the
On
mind.
dreams
We
and
do
words
not
that
know
slip
what's
out.
going on inside your head, not objectively, not scientifically. So they're going to focus
Okay.
on observable behavior that can be recorded objectively and thought about scientifically. So for behaviorists, that's the methodology that we're going to use. Tightly controlled experiments where the dependent variable, what you're measuring, is objective behavior. But then, what's the cause of behavior? Cause of behavior for psychodynamic folks, it's the unconscious mind. Positive behavior for behaviorists is prior experience. We learn from prior experience,
So it
and
could
that
kind of fall into like
changes
Pavlov
how
a little bit,
likely a behavior is moving forward.
or like
All right,
potty training in a
humanistic, and
sense.
I'm going to take more time with these and probably less time with the more modern perspectives. Behaviorism is certainly influential today, but I would say very, very, very few psychologists would label themselves as strict behaviorists. Um, Humanistic might, I find
Humanist.
it hard to
Okay.
explain in a very straightforward way.
Damn, I
And I
like
think
seeing it jump from
probably
1 to 3
relatively
viewers.
others,
It's kind of fun.
probably fewer of you know humanism coming into this class.
Welcome to the stream if you're joining
But
now.
humanistic, a
I'm
person that
studying,
you
I
could
guess, sort of.
equate it
More
with
taking notes, but with
is
y'all.
Abraham Maslow. Not,
You are
maybe some of you,
welcome.
probably most of you don't.
Oh, hey, how are you doing? Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome to chat. I am taking notes. I don't know the name he just said, but it's fine. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Focus on self. Okay. Focus on. I know he said a name, and I don't know what the name it was he said, and it's also not in the slide. Maybe it'll be in the slide notes? Hold on. Because he has a. Nope, it's not even in the notes. Solid. We love to see it. Really do. Focus on self concept. What does that mean? Realizing our full potential. Huh. Okay. Realizing full potential and the challenges in doing so. Full potential and challenges in doing so. I write so slowly. Okay.
I've never heard that name before, but some of you probably have. Abraham Maslow, and he talked about a hierarchy of needs.
Wait, hold on. Maslow. Oh, hierarchy of needs. We can figure it out that way. Hierarchy of needs. Who was Maslow? I know, I need to re-download it because I could still play it without streaming. I just need to download it on this computer. I will tell you, I'll be able to say when I can do that. I just need to re-download it and make sure I have space on the computer for it. And then it's also based on time for college. Although I did just drop 2 classes, so I went from 20 credits to 14 now. Because they were both 6 credit classes. Okay. But yes, I definitely should be able to play soon, hopefully.
School of thought or perspective is really kind of getting at how can psychology help explain how people get to their fullest potential. And so this, compared to the other two, and it's a reaction to these previous two, to say, let's focus on what's good about people. Let's focus on what makes people the best they can be. So this has something to do with self-concept, how we think about ourselves, and how we gain, let's say, confidence in ourselves. So kind of how are we going to be the best we can be, and how are individuals going to become the best they can be? That's a humanistic point of view, and maybe to some degree it's also going to be what might be some challenges or barriers toward realizing full potential.
A lot.
So very kind of positively valence
Depression.
And getting at self-development with
I wonder if I can help
the
myself with
goal of
this class.
becoming like kind of our best self. Very different from behaviorism, very different from
Maybe.
And again, I don't see a lot of this in.
That's because I don't think I've heard of many humanistic,
and again,
like,
we're talking about
people who believe in humanism or humanistic
that,
much.
I kind of think about as 50s, 60s, 70s, 1950s, 60s, 70s kind of perspective. So let's move forward.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Cognitive psychology
should hopefully
clearly
depending on
replaced, I say
studying,
clearly,
I might be able
maybe
to
not so
tonight.
clearly for some, but I think pretty clearly replaced
Cognitive, sorry.
behaviorism as dominant perspective in
Unlike
psychology.
behaviorism,
And
focus
now,
on
very
what's
much
happening in the
psychology
mind.
it's a cognitive perspective
No,
and
wait, I'm gonna
neuro.
post this so I can write it down. On what is happening in the mind. Hello. I'm studying for my psych exam, for my intro to psych. I am 18. I'm almost 19. I'm gonna be 19 in almost a month. That's insane to me. Focuses on what's happening. You know, I have my psych exam tomorrow. It's my first out of 4, but I really like it because it's all non-cumulative, which works really well for me. Because I'm bad at remembering things over time. Because my brain is really bad at remembering things. Focuses on what's happening in the mind, which is thoughts, information processing, memory. Phew, I must not have great cognitive memory then. Processing and memory. I probably should have written that in the little thing below, like I normally do, but it's fine. Psychometrics, measuring mental functions capacity. Oh, dude, psychology is so interesting sometimes. Also, I feel like I wish he would put all of the information just on the slides because he goes off in tangents. And it's quite annoying for trying to take notes because I don't know what is important and what is not important. Measuring mental functions and capacity. Also, at least I don't have. Dude, I will admit I do enjoy college classes for the purpose of you don't constantly have homework or a million projects. But I also don't like it because it means that everything rides on the tests, which kind of sucks. Alfred Benet. What's that?
Perspective or some combination of the two.
First.
Not that there aren't people doing other things, and not that there aren't some psychologists who completely ignore cognitive perspectives or a neuroscience perspective, but realistically,
Do I like English? Oh, what is BWC? I'm dumb as fuck. Stand for and slang. I don't know what BWC means, but good to know. Oh wait. I swear to, if it's fucking if it's supposed to be a sexual term, I don't appreciate that, but it's
for example,
whatever. We've dealt with that before on the stream.
By far, the most common approach for clinicians is called the cognitive behavioral approach. And there might be some subsets of that, but that's it. There's, in mainstream clinical psychology, it's cognitive behavioral. Not that there's not a little Freud dabbed in for some,
Fucking hate
but
Freud.
that's what
Glad we don't have to learn about him at
training,
least.
master's level, PhD level, that's what you're going to learn is a cognitive behavioral perspective on helping clients with their challenges. All right, so what do we mean by cognitive? I think the word is helpful. I think we're really talking. If I ask you to define cognitions, I'm sure you would get.
Appreciate it. I'm good. Thank you, though.
Coming out of your mouth, right? It's how we think. It's how we process information. Um, it's how we remember things. All right, so very much in contrast to behaviorism, because behaviorism says we can't look inside the mind, right? And there's that famous
But with cognitive, they think that you
cliche,
can.
the mind is a black box. It's a black box. It means we can't look inside it. Cognitive psychologists, no, no, no. No, mind is not a black box. We can ask questions about it. We can
Mind is a
use
black box.
metaphors, like computer metaphors, to try to understand thoughts and information processing.
Oh, that
So
makes
that's a
sense.
cognitive perspective. And I'll go over a couple examples in just a
Just
moment.
don't be fucking gross.
In slides, sometimes I will put things in italics.
Hold on, I actually will fucking go off on this. Not every woman wants your fucking dick. So, I'm sorry, but I don't fucking want it. So, please leave then. I don't give a shit.
Just to, which means italics means that you don't really have to remember it for an exam. So I will not test you on this psychometric stuff.
Oh, I didn't have to
Occasionally, I
write it
think
down
it could
then.
be helpful to you to remember things. So cognitive, I think of as pretty modern and maybe becoming dominant 80s, 90s, and into the 21st century. But the cognitive perspective also goes way back to psychometrics at the turn of the 20th century, kind of getting at how do we measure mental capacities? Um, how do we measure how smart someone is or how capable someone is to become smart? So this idea of inherent intelligence,
How we can
and
measure
how do we
people's
measure it?
intelligence
How
by
can we
seeing if they
test for
actually
it?
say
So
shit like you
the
did.
earliest IQ test is really from Stanford Binet, and Alfred Binet is really developing kind of a precursor to what would become the first intelligence test. You don't have to know that, but I would say that aligns with sort of that's an early example of what a cognitive perspective could give us. Neuroscience perspective, I probably fairly obvious. We're looking at kind of structurally, what's going on in the brain. So it's exploring the influence of the nervous system. And we're about to get into this.
Okay, so that's what
next,
I'm majoring in
not
then.
next year, but next week. The influence of the brain and uh, and the peripheral nervous system on behavior. Okay. How else do we explain behavior? Well, we can also explain it from a socio.
Oh, so he just said that and then was like, that is all you need to know about neuroscience. Okay. It's fine, I'm gonna get through this last one and then.
Historically, I think psychology has done a fairly poor job of looking at social context and certainly cultural context
I'm gonna look at this one and then I'm gonna take a break.
behavior. But I definitely think there's more and more a nod toward the importance of this. And I know among my colleagues, my faculty here, I don't know that we have a sociocultural psychologist. Maybe one person would define herself that way. But I think almost all of us recognize the importance of it. So in some
Okay. Oh, okay, so it is influence of other people. I guessed that one correctly, at least. Influence of other people on behavior. I should have known when you asked how old I am. It's like a nice little tip off for girls, at least. It involves comparing and contrasting cultures. It's fine. I'm a woman. I'm used to this shit.
subdiscipline of psychology, but I do believe uh, the large majority of psychologists recognize the importance of a sociocultural perspective, and I think many different questions in psychology, an array of different questions in psychology, can benefit from looking at it through a sociocultural lens. What are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about how does the influence of other people, uh, and not just, I think all of us sort of resonate to the idea that our parents are certainly important controllers of our behavior, influences on our behavior,
Getting with that one.
and maybe friends are as well. But what about like teachers or people we meet in just in passing, our
Hello,
neighbors?
I am currently studying
Um,
Intro to Psychology.
what's
It
the
is,
influence of
I have an
culture,
exam tomorrow.
right? The government
So,
structure in which I grew up, cultural
how are you doing,
norms,
Ojano?
what we
I
might
hope you're doing
define as
good.
politeness
Also,
or
there's a
etiquette.
delay,
How do all these
so
things
I promise
influence
I've
our
answered your
behavior?
question.
And can we
Like, I
study
promise I
them
see it
much
right
more
away. It's
effectively?
just the
So
delay
very
in me
important.
saying
And
it
I
and
think there are
answering is
other
very slow.
fields that cut into this as well, right? So we have cultural anthropology that certainly gets at this and also adds, I think, an historical element. But even within psychology, I think a social cultural perspective is very important, and there are psychologists who study this exclusively. I'm going to give a couple examples, and again, I want to emphasize that
And I really
these
am
are
getting a lot of
perspectives
different
that
people today.
a
It's kind of
psychologist
nice.
might kind of quote unquote grow up with in her or his training, right? So my teachers were, uh, had a cognitive perspective, and so I certainly adopted that cognitive perspective from them. Or my teacher, and this might be more true like 50,
So
60 years ago,
everyone
but
can
my teacher had a very psychodynamic perspective, psychoanalytic perspective. And so I
influences
adopted that kind of viewpoint from him
behavior,
or her. But now let's look at how we might
friends,
apply these.
family,
And I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to
society,
give you two
teachers.
clinical examples, one that I will do for you, hopefully with you, and then one I'm going to leave for quote unquote homework. Two examples.
Okay.
How do you look at these clinical issues through the lenses of a behaviorist perspective?
So, so for this one, it's suppose a 32-year-old client tells you, I can't keep a relationship going longer than 6 weeks. I'm afraid of commitment. Help me. And so then you have to examine it through each perspective. So, if I were to study it through the psychodynamic one, it would be something else. Oh, you're all good. I don't know. I've always really liked learning about the brain. So technically, I'm a cognitive and behavioral neuroscience major. But I have to take an intro to psych course. I personally, and this is something I've talked about on my stream before, I have struggled with like depression and anxiety in the past, and I've always been very curious as to like why my brain does what it does. Like why, even though it has the right, like it has all of the right functions and it has all the right pieces, why it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So that's always why I've been interested in psychology. I think it's so fascinating to me to study the way that people act and why people do things the way they do and why they do them. So that is why. Is this example going to be the most part of the video? Is my question. Oh, it does talk about it. Okay. So then it helps me to see. Okay, cool. That's good to hear you're not bad. I mean, even if it's just okay, that's always better than bad or horrible. So that's always good. It's always a step. I'll take a small break here of like doing notes just to chat with y'all real quick before I go and take like a bathroom break around like 2:30. Just because the girl got pee. I've been doing this for almost 2 hours. Still got like a long while to go. just because I'm wanting to do it to where I get all of my notes done, and then might as well just hang out and talk with y'all for a bit as well. So yeah. So I'll be streaming essentially all day, maybe till 5, maybe till 6, who knows? Maybe I'll eat dinner with y'all. We'll see. I kind of like these streams. They're kind of fun. Like just having just a bunch of different people pop in. I really like that. If you would like to see more of not just full day streams of studying, but like having actual like chatting streams where I talk with you, and well, I'll soon have a YouTube, or whenever I have my desktop back, which will probably not be for a while. I'll be able to see me stream Minecraft and Among Us again, which those were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my hardcore worlds, or my high core worlds. That actually was so much fun. I miss them. But yes, take the time to follow. It's free. And then I also have a Discord channel where I update whenever I'm going live as well. So but yeah, that's my self promotion. I can run an ad while I'm going to the restroom. I did not even think of that. Dude, being an affiliate's so weird. I'm not used to this. Huh. A strong interest, something that's interested me. Oh, okay. Oh, you're all good. You don't have to apologize for that. Yeah, no, it's not even what I want to go to for like career wise. Like I'm also majoring in microbiology, so I'm double majoring. But it is, I mean, it's something I've always been interested in. It's something I've always wanted to do, but I know I couldn't do psychology or anything like that just because med school definitely would kill me. As well as I would end up taking home everybody's problems. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. But yeah, no, I would definitely take home everybody's problems, which would be a problem for me at least. So that's why I'm not able to go into it as my main field of study. But which kind of sucks, just because I like it a lot. And I do want to help people, which is why I'm going into microbiology, because I can work in the lab and I can identify diseases and bacteria that people come in with. So I can be like, you have this thing, take this to like fix it. So I'm very excited about that actually. But yeah, that's my little life. I really enjoy. I like talking a lot. It's fun. I also really like. I don't know. I'm glad I started streaming. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't started streaming, which I don't know if you just have an account to watch people, Jono, or if you stream as well, but I would always recommend it. It's always fun, even if you have like nobody watching. Like I have just one viewer, which I think is you, but like it's still so fun and I love it so much. But yeah, um, I have like, I think I'm going to go and I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. So I will be back in just a little bit. Hello, I am back from my bathroom break. I like to talk and meet new people, but it's hard in lockdown. Yeah. I can imagine it would definitely be hard in lockdown. I'm currently in quarantine myself. Just because I got exposed from one person. I'm not a partier or anything like that. Damn, yeah. That's understandable. I get that. But yeah, I mean, I just started with Minecraft just because it's a game that I enjoy. So I personally would recommend, like, I don't know, just do a game you enjoy. And most people have fun watching it. What is this? You guys are incredible with your support for Make-A-Wish. But yeah. You got this. My friend's currently trying to withdraw out of this semester of college just because it is not doing great for his mental health, which is understandable. College is a bitch. If I knew I could actually make streaming work as a job, that would be so nice, but I know for me personally it's not realistic. Yeah, isn't it like, wait, 5 hours ahead? It's like 7:36 for you if you're in the UK. Big brain. Not really, I've just been to Scotland a lot. Okay. I don't want to do more work, but I need to. Okay, I'm actually back. Okay, I need to turn that down even a little bit more. Okay.
Or cognitive perspective, or humanistic perspective, etc. All right, so let's suppose that you have a clinical
Apparently, I also
diagnosis,
cannot be a
and someone
psychiatrist
comes
because
into
I
your
don't
office
know
and says,
how you would see this.
I have relationship
So
problems,
it's like
and that's
we go to school for college from January till May, and that's one semester, and then we have a second semester. Okay, I said that backwards. Technically, our first semester is fall semester, and that goes from August until December. We take finals during December, and then we have a small break, and then we start back in January, go until May, and then we have June and July off. Those are semesters. So each school year is made up of 2 semesters. So like I'm a freshman, so I'm in my second semester of college. So like I'm in my spring semester. So I've already taken classes from last semester. So I took like 7 last semester. And then I'm taking 6 this semester, if that makes sense. I hope I explained that well. Nice. Oh, I appreciate you choosing my stream to wind down and relax with.
what I want to talk about. I struggle with relationships,
Okay.
and I get out of them quickly. Something makes me nervous or upset, and I get out of them. And now I'm in one, and it's been a
Okay,
few
so this
weeks,
is
and I
the
feel great
commitment
about this
issue
person,
one.
but I'm worried. I'm worried about my past history not doing well in relationships. So if you're coming from
Issue.
psychodynamic perspective,
So
what
psychodynamic.
kinds of questions might
I
you
don't know.
ask her or him? Or what do you think might be the root cause of the problem?
Psychodynamic.
And those are sort of two different questions,
Well,
but
that
they're
would
linked,
be an
I believe, right?
unconscious thing.
If
Sorry.
you
I
understand
hate
the causes
psychodynamics
of
so
the
much.
problem, that certainly should lead to some solutions. But you can
Behaviorist.
also sometimes have a solution for a problem, even though
Humanist.
you don't
Also,
totally
how
understand the
are
cause of
you?
the
Do you
problem.
have
Think about
job
the use of
or are you
drugs
in
for certain
secondary? Is it secondary? Is secondary
psychological
year
diagnoses.
1
So
through
some clinical
13? I can't
psychology
remember.
diagnoses, right?
Yeah, I think it is, because then there's
or
uni.
an
I'm so
anxiety
sorry.
disorder. They don't exactly know the cause of the anxiety disorder, but they can certainly prescribe a drug that could help the symptoms.
That is very
I have
true.
mixed feelings about that, but it is possible to try to address
Can, in
those
fact,
problems
give you
without
drugs
fully
to
understanding
make you
the
less
cause.
anxious.
However, with that said, I think if you were a clinical psychologist, you would tell me
It's just not fun.
why some problems are
Because
happening
the
so that you
anxiety,
can help them.
because the
So if
depression
you were
ones lead you to have more
psychoanalytic, how would you
anxiety,
go about it? What kinds of
and the
questions would you
anxiety
ask?
ones lead you to have insomnia.
What would you think about?
And the insomnia
If you
ones,
were
well, they
coming
make you
from
go
a
to bed.
behaviorist perspective, what
You
would you think
just
about?
are
How about a
awake,
cognitive perspective?
or you just feel so tired
I
the next
encourage you
day.
to pause this and think about it for a few minutes.
I'm
Write
not
a
gonna
couple
pause
things
this and
down.
think about
Take
this.
3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, term
Ready?
time. Oh, okay.
Unpause. Okay.
I've
My
heard about
answers are not
apprenticeships. I don't. I
the
have some
only answers
friends.
you should
Hold on,
have.
I'm sorry. I have some friends in the UK, and I've heard a little bit about apprenticeships, although I don't know exactly what they are. Social cultural. For an unconscious conflict with an earlier relationship. Oh, okay. Unconscious conflict with earlier relationship. So, like, mom or dad. Okay, cool. Or sibling. Or just family. I don't know why I said family or sibling. Help the person learn the rewards of being in one. So it's really is different things. Behaviorist isn't looking at why. They really are just trying to understand that you can change the behavior through learning. Humanistic is difficult because it's all about self-concept. Okay, I think I'm actually understanding this a little bit now. Learn the rewards of being in one. In one. Encourage smaller commitments. So it's actually about changing the behavior. So they can learn to be committed to smaller things before bigger things. Okay. That actually makes sense. Oh, wow, that's so much. Oh, okay. That's awesome. Basically learning about doing the job. Damn. Yeah, no, that sounds kind of like an unpaid internship. I know some internships get paid a little bit. Qualification experience in the field. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, so it's essentially an internship, but you actually will get paid, and people actually think it's a good idea. Damn. See, the UK just becomes more appealing day after day. Could be with. Although I will admit, applying with UCAS is very confusing, as well as the fact you can only choose 5 units. I did not like that in a previous relationship. You know, part of me does still wish I'd accepted the University of St. Andrews application. Sometimes I'm glad I'm here, but also, I just. Oh, to be in Scotland. Is gratifying. Could also drink legally. I don't even know why I just thought of that one, but that is true. Or how important the relationship is to the person. How important relationship is.
There might be others, and you may certainly email me at or come to office hours. Or my email address is HOFF. F is in
Is
Frank.
to the person.
So HOFF
I'm gonna
at
talk over this
VT.edu.
one just to make sure because that's an email.
Let's think about how these
Cool.
perspectives might be relevant, though. Certainly, from a psychodynamic perspective, I hope if you wrote anything down that you wrote down
Huh.
unconscious conflict. And probably,
So for
not
psychodynamic, do I just have to write
entirely,
unconscious conflict
I'm
and
not going to
that's
say that
it?
this is the only answer you should
Seems
write,
like it.
but I think probably from a
Huh.
psychoanalytic perspective, I
Nice.
think
What
that
are you, like, what's your
this
apprenticeship in?
unconscious conflict has something to do with a
Or,
bad early
yeah.
relationship, right? So the problem in your adult relationships is the result of maybe something that happened previously. I think that's the way you would probably think. I think probably obviously if you know sort of some of the, I don't know what to say, cliche mainstream media accounts of a Freudian perspective, probably you know that that might go back to a parent, right? What was your relationship like with mom? What was it like with dad? And so maybe if I uncover some of that, and if I can ask
Even if you
questions
don't want me to.
that might get at some unconscious conflicts, then maybe I can solve some problems in relationships now moving forward for my adult client. Okay. Somewhat similarly, a behaviorist might ask questions about experiences from the past that might where they might have learned that relationships can be
Hmm.
bad or relationships can be dangerous. A key, sometimes I get the question, how is what you're saying about behaviorism different from what you're saying about psychodynamic? Behaviorism, what I've learned in the past might be on my conscious mind, right? So
Okay.
I was 16
Hold on, I'm gonna write that
and
down in
I
my
had
little
a
behavior one.
relationship with a girl who I thought was the best, and we
Might
went
be
out
in
for
conscious mind.
3 months, and I was there, and I was even thinking we would go to college together and all these things. And then I found out
Ah,
that she was
yes.
cheating on me
Young love.
and wasn't
Oh,
telling me, and
not
this
young
happened
love.
and that happened, and I got
Not
very,
young
very,
love.
very hurt. And I realized that,
Whoops.
right? It's not. I didn't bury it in my unconscious. I'm fully aware, and I tell everybody, right away how this old
No.
relationship kind of burned me. And I think a behaviorist could get at that. The other way I thought about behaviorism has a lot to do with reward and punishment in sort of like training, right? Anytime you're training a pet, right? Like you have a dog and a puppy,
Okay.
and you want to teach the puppy to sit or to do some trick to impress your friends, you're using behaviorist principles of reward and punishment to do that. Now, you certainly don't want to treat a client like a new puppy. However, people also do respond well to rewards.
That
And
is
so
true.
maybe there's a way of
I will
of
respond very positively if
a
I have a reward.
psychotherapist from a behaviorist perspective could say, all right, let's think about your I understand you're afraid of this commitment, but what if you tried
Wasn't
to do
customer services. Oh, okay.
some kind of small commitment
Oh, I'm
and
sorry, dude.
then teach yourself that that will turn out well.
I
And
mean,
so
hopefully.
try something small.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause this. I mean, hopefully with the IT thing, especially since you said you're working your way into it, I mean, from the way it seems that y'all work there, it could, I mean, you could possibly be able to work yourself into the area that you would like, as well as, I mean, there's so many different sites online to teach coding as well. Hello. Nice. I mean, yeah, going to university or college is definitely not cheap at all. But I mean, there definitely are also, like, I know a lot of places, like, a lot of sites and things online that you can teach yourself coding with. So, that's awesome. Like, that actually is really awesome for you. Also, hello, Devil Broflo 2002. How are you? No, I like that name. That's kind of it's a nice, catchy name. Welcome to me studying while also having slight conversations on the side with people in my chat. I'm currently studying psychology for my exam tomorrow.
And then work your way up to things that might be bigger. So, and I think what's small and what's big might depend on from one person to another. But let's think
Also,
about,
yes, sorry, I'm about to talk
let's say,
over
the
this again.
fourth week of being in a
But
relationship. What
I
might be some commitments?
really want to
One
teach
might
myself
be,
at least how to like program like a small
depending
game.
on
I think that would just be so fun.
your
But I
belief
also have no
systems.
time.
One might be at the 4-week mark, like sleeping with someone, right? So I'm gonna have sex and I'm going to stay overnight. And for some people, that might not be that big of a thing.
No,
For someone
I don't enjoy
with
staying the
problems
night.
with commitment, that might be a big thing. I'm going to sleep in this person's house or apartment,
I've done that once.
and that's something.
Twice.
Or
Twice. I've done that
I'm going
twice.
to leave a couple things there, like toothbrush, etc., etc.
I also have a toothbrush
Another
there.
possible commitment at the 4-month mark might be something like, or a sign of commitment might be the
Hold
loved
on.
one goes away and says, "Oh, could you come over to my place and feed my cat, or water my plants, or house sit while I'm gone for 3 days?" Okay, that doesn't sound to me like a big deal. I've done that as a friend for people, but in a relationship, that might be something like, "Oh, all right, now I'm this person's number one." Right?
Dude, it feels like that
That
sometimes,
might
and
be
it
a
is
little
very
stressful,
scary in
perhaps.
like some
So
relationships.
I think from a behaviorist
I say that as
perspective,
if
you
I've
can
been in a
encourage
bunch. I've been in
these
two.
kinds of, let's say, smallish commitments.
Two.
I would say relatively small, but that's a subjective statement. And then could the person learn? Oh,
That's
that
kind of
wasn't
like
so
a.
bad, or I enjoyed interacting with his or her cat, and
Oh,
and
cats are the
and,
best. I
and
really like cats and
house sitting at
dogs.
the apartment. That was great,
They're
and
all so
learning that
cute.
that's not so bad, and kind of moving forward with that. All right, humanistic perspective. I don't know what to say about humanistic perspective here, but somehow I think we're going to be talking about what does this aspect of life have to do with a person's overall growth and satisfaction.
So
So
it could just be that
from a
they're not.
humanistic perspective, I think we recognize
They
that
don't trust themselves that much.
loving
I use
relationships,
websites and books. But where? Whoa.
partnerships, romantic partnerships are really
Oh no, you're all good.
one of
It
the
doesn't seem like you're moping.
gratifying
Actually,
things in
it's.
life, right? For some of us, the most
That's
gratifying thing.
insane. That's really awesome,
And
dude.
and
That's also just
and how
insane that you
important
were
is
able
it
to
to that
build your
person?
own like
So just
a
recognizing,
system
maybe
for your old
thinking about
workplace. That's
motivation.
so cool.
How important
I
is
mean,
it to
hopefully that
you
should get you. I
that
mean,
that
that
you be
should
in
be
a
able to get you
relationship
places
with
as well as if you're able to write a good
based on
resume
trust and commitment
or like a resume that reflects
so
that.
so
That
that might
definitely
be
should
a
help, even if you don't
humanistic
like. Excuse me, even
perspective
if you didn't go to like
seen in sort
uni,
of a clinical
essentially.
situations, clinical setting. I think a great perspective to use for this particular example would be a
Oh, we
cognitive
have more.
perspective, which is could start with it.
Focus on thoughts and fears. I feel like I'm not going to do well on this test, but it's okay. Because I have to actually understand the content, and I don't feel like I do that very well. I am, sort of. It has definitely been a year, for sure. Like, I love the classes, especially some of the ones I took last semester I really loved. I love the ones that I'm taking this semester, especially my psych one, and then I also have a creative writing one that I really love. It is very stressful, I will admit, because I didn't pass my chemistry one I had last semester, so I have to retake it. And I only have one more chance to take it, is the thing. And if I fail that, then I don't get to do either degree that I'm working towards, so I have to switch, which is a really scary thought because I'm not good at chemistry at all. And so it is very nerve-wracking because it is a lot of pressure to make sure you do it right the first time or the second time. So, yeah. But, I mean, it should be well, hopefully. It's also with COVID, it's definitely very much changed how the college experience probably normally would be. I know normally people would be going out and having like clubs and events and things like that. but because of COVID, it makes it very difficult to. Like, I joined a sorority, which they don't have over in the UK, but I'm sure you've seen them on TV and stuff. And normally, it is true. They do have a lot of parties and things. Not mine particularly, just because since the one I joined is the oldest sorority there is. And so we have a lot more rules and a lot of things to follow and can't look bad. So, but we don't need to throw them, but like a bunch of fraternities and things, they also are throwing them. So like, I personally am not going to them because of COVID. I like to be safe. Don't know about the others, but I don't know. It definitely, I will admit, I'm very excited for once COVID is gone, so I can actually participate in college things. Oh, wait, yeah, I need to write. Focus on thoughts and fears. I'm also just excited to go to a lecture in person instead of have to watch videos and take notes on it. I learn a lot better in person. So, but I feel like that's pretty much everyone. Also, when / why these thought and emotion patterns occur. Yeah, no, as I said, I'm currently in the quarantine dorm because I got exposed by one person who didn't even know she had it. She was asymptomatic, and I got exposed because then she tested positive, which really sucked. I mean, obviously she didn't know. It's not her fault. But it just sucks because I'm very lonely. It's very boring here. And that's also why I'm streaming. So, I mean, I enjoy streaming anyways. I just always feel awkward streaming with my roommate in the room. I love her to death, but I feel very awkward, especially because we'll talk about her occasionally. And she will be in the room. I mean, it's never bad things. I love my roommate to death. She is one of the best roommates I could have asked for. But currently she's in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am at our college, Virginia Tech. Actually, I think she gets back today. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I don't know when she gets back because I won't be able to see her come in the room because I'm gone. Look at brain physiology. Oh, it's actually, there are a lot of benefits. It does create a ton of connections. Like, because it really is, you're not even just paying to be in it for like the parties and the events that there are there. It's also, you're paying to have like these huge connections that like if I were to apply anywhere, I could say that I was part of my sorority, which is Chi Omega, and it's possible that someone who is working at that company may have worked there and could like be like, oh, if she was part of this, then most likely she's a really good candidate for this job. It's also, I'm really big on the philanthropy part of it, so the one that we work with is Make-A-Wish, and I really like it. I love being able to give back. Like, that's a huge thing that I love. So, it's also just finding people who you're really similar to, which is really nice. Like, I found, one of the girls that I'm friends with, like, I didn't even know her for, like, 3 weeks ago or some shit. But, like, we talk as if we've known each other for, like, absolutely forever. It's insane. It's really nice. It's like a huge support system. Like, it doesn't seem like it, and it obviously is different depending on what state you're in. But the one at my college, it's actually it's very open, it's very supportive. It's really nice. They don't have hazing, which I know they show in movies and things. Like, they are so strict on it. Like, I cannot designated drive for somebody because it could be considered hazing, which is insane to me. Like, it is nice how adamant they are on it. I will admit, I never thought I would join a sorority just because I always thought I'm not one of those girls. But because of COVID, it made it so hard to meet people. My first term of college. So I was like, I really want to meet people, and a sorority was kind of the only choice for that. So yeah. fear or stress. I know a lot of people don't like it. I used to not like it at all, or at least seeing it online, but that's also seeing it from an outside perspective is the thing. Like, none of us know what goes on inside, and it is a really good support system. Like, I can go to like anybody in the sorority and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this. And they'll be like, yeah, for sure, let me help. Meeting 2-6. Okay, and then the last one. Examine cultural norms. Regarding relationships, marriage. I will admit, marriage sounds really scary. Like, I will admit, yeah, I am 18, almost 19. I have years to go for that. But, like, even thinking about it just is a scary thought to have. I don't know. Maybe it is because of past relationships that I have this thought on marriage that I don't want to, as well as maybe just seeing parents wise.
Just as simple
I don't know.
as asking questions
The
about what the
brain is a
person's
weird,
thinking,
weird place.
right? What
So,
are your thoughts? What are your fears? And I think if it really was about this 6 week thing, I've never been in a relationship longer than 6 weeks, then I would try to think about a timeline, right? So there's, if I, fingers, I could show you, and I could say how with air quotes, the honeymoon period, right? So we can have a honeymoon period in a relationship
he can't show
that
us his fingers because
depends
he
on the
doesn't have
person. Let's just say it's a
arms.
few weeks, right? Where everyone's great, everything the person does is great, and they fart.
They really are. I mean, it definitely does depend on which state you go to. The ones here at my college are very positive. The ones at other colleges, possibly they aren't. I have absolutely no idea. Oh yeah, no, it is. America's a place. That is for sure. I will admit I love hearing about the perspective of America, or like hearing about people's perspective of America, who don't live here. Especially, I love hearing about the political thoughts. Just because I have very specific ones. If you look at my appearance, I feel like you can very easily tell which specific ones I have. I don't enjoy talking about politics on my stream just because I know it is a very controversial thing. But like, I really liked hearing about people's views who lived outside of the country during all of the riots that were happening, as well as the election. Like, I know one of my friend, he lives in Singapore. He was like, "Yeah, I was holding my breath. I was really surprised that Biden won." I was like, honestly, same. It was. I mean, it was nice to see, but I was very surprised that he won. I was very happy about it, I will admit. So, but yeah, no, I love hearing about it from the outside perspective, especially with like, sorry, I'm pausing this again, especially hearing about like commercials and ads and stuff. Like, I know in the UK, I think it was in the UK, they didn't have many, or like, it's very weird to market stuff to people during like TV shows and things. I don't remember. It was something, but it's just, I love hearing about. I also just love learning about different cultures. It's something I absolutely love. I really want to I would love to be able to travel. That is, I would love that. I was supposed to go to Peru last summer, but because of COVID, I couldn't. My dad and I were supposed to hike Machu Picchu. Oh, I was so excited about it. I was going to try guinea pig, which they call kui, which is because of the sound that the guinea pigs make. I think that's so cool to me personally. But yeah.
Is kind of nice. But
That
then
was very loud.
things
I'm sorry.
change, right? So I would be asking about thoughts, thoughts that you might have about another person, change from week 2 to 3 to 4? Are there fears that come up that in your relationships, and could you describe them? And when do they happen? And what do they make you do or think? How do they change maybe your behavior? Like maybe you protect yourself more at week 4 or 5. But cognitive perspective, very simply, is what's going on in your head. And I say simply,
I don't
but
know.
maybe
I
it's
never
not
know
so
what's going
simple.
on in my brain.
And
It's
once again, in
confusing.
contrast to psychodynamic, the idea here with cognitive perspective is the client should be able to articulate
I never
these
know what's
things
going on in my brain, to be fair. My
very
brain,
readily.
the way I describe it,
Maybe
it's
not
very
with
loud.
any kind of complexity.
It is like I have
at
multiple tabs open. Like, it really is. I have multiple
you should
tabs
be able
open
to
playing
say out loud
different videos at
memories
at the exact same
and
time, and I can
how
focus on
they have
different
felt
things.
in previous
It's
relationships
great.
at different
Not really.
times.
Makes it impossible to do work sometimes.
Okay, neuroscience. I find it a little bit difficult to think about neuroscience in a clinical setting because it's not as if you're going to be in an office and you're going to hook up your client to
That'd be funny.
EEG or put him through an MRI or even do hormone tests. However,
I mean, you could.
there certainly are things that relate to what happens in the brain when we are let's say
I
really
saw you
enjoying
messaged
something,
again. Let me look.
right? There are brain areas that
Is
light
Brit in
up,
the
central
US?
regions of the brain, and
Customer service is also very odd.
forebrain bundle and other places that get at pleasure, all kinds of different types of pleasure, and there are neurotransmitters like dopamine
Huh.
that certainly
Yeah,
relate
that's just
to
so insane.
pleasure.
Oh, it was
But
the
there are
medication
also
thing.
then
Yes, that's what it was.
parts of the brain that are quite active when we are afraid or we're
A
thinking
little
about
bit. It is very.
vigilant about
I
things,
personally don't like Big
should I be
Pharma.
worried
I'm
about
allowed to
this?
speak on it
Should I
because
be
I actually
protective about this?
do
The
have to
amygdala,
take
another area,
medications.
is certainly
Big
involved
Pharma
here.
is
So
absolute
we could,
bitch. I think it
and
is
not all
dumb.
mammals are
I
monogamous. In
personally
fact,
do
very
not
few
agree with the
mammals are
fact that
monogamous.
multiple
There are
different
some
companies should be
primates
able to sell essentially the same
that are
medication
some
for
dominant species of
enormous
primates
prices.
are
Prices.
monogamous.
Prices. I also say this because I know my friend, like one of my best friends, she cannot get like her ADHD medication, or she can't even go in to talk about possibly having OCD because of how fucking expensive it is. And I think that that is absolute bullshit. I will say that. That is something I'm fine with expressing because it's not really completely a political
What
opinion.
are the biological bases,
So,
the neural bases of even something like monogamy? And then finally, a social cultural perspective might really get at what are expectations? What do you perceive, if you're my client, what do you perceive as expectations regarding uh, committed, loving relationships
those are
love and
scary.
marriage? So a very easy example here in the United States in this century is, when do we get married? Well, for a lot of people,
It used to be the 20s,
and I'm not
or in their
saying
20s.
right or wrong, but just more what's the norm. I think the norm in the United States now is you get on your own 2 feet financially, and then you can think about a marriage relationship.
I personally like that. That makes sense to me.
I've had this conversation with hundreds, if not maybe thousands, of students now. This idea of I have to worry about a job and where I settle first, and I have to be financially stable, not relying on my parents, and then I can get married if
I
want to
personally agree with that.
Then I can have kids if I want to have kids. But I hear that kind of over and over, and it wasn't like that. Exactly like that.
I don't really think
20,
I want
30,
kids,
40, 50 years
which
ago.
is kind of,
Okay.
I know it's a very surprising
Let's
thing for
do
most
one
people.
other example for you.
But
Or
I
let me
personally
introduce
don't.
one other example for you,
I don't know.
and I will end there. I'm not going to say how I would
Specifically,
use
when I
these
can fall asleep, okay,
perspectives
I
on
have great
this,
difficulty staying asleep.
um,
Hold on.
I will encourage you. I encourage you to.
Sorry, this example I
Think about
just
this
saw is
further.
essentially me.
Talk about it with
The
your
example
friends.
is, I have insomnia. Specifically, while I can fall asleep okay, I have great difficulty staying asleep. I will wake up around 4 or 4:30 in the morning and then fall back asleep, but it just doesn't happen. That is me. Literally, whenever I sleep, it doesn't feel like I've gotten like an actual good rest. So, it sucks. It's not fun. Don't recommend it. Dude, I don't know, I will admit, like, living life without mental illness, that'd be so nice. It just, thinking about it is so interesting. Because the thing is, and it's a very sad thing, but it's a reality that I've come to terms with. My brain's gonna be like this for the rest of my life. Like, I'm going to have ADHD, and most likely I will have depression for the rest of my life. Just because my brain has decided to warp itself to where it, like, either doesn't have, where, like, some of the neurons aren't, I don't think it's firing correctly. I don't remember how ADHD works. But I know with, like, depression and stuff, like, it's like, the transmitters, the receptors, most likely will never rechange back to where they will easily accept serotonin or produce it more. And that's just something I've come to accept. It sucks, but, like, I don't know, once you accept it, it helps, I think. I don't know. Sorry, that got very depressing. I'm gonna take a small break again. Let me look real quick. Checkings or savings. Sorry, I also have to pay for a college thing. So, billinghighway.com. Oh, you know what was also insane? The impeachment thing. In fact, it happened twice. I'm not gonna talk about it more. I really need to not talk about it more. Okay. I'll just send him that. Because, I mean, I feel like he can give me the information that I need to pay from that. Assignment due date changed. Why was it changed? I'm gonna create another tab for this. Excuse me. Neuroscience lab. Okay, I already did that one. Oh, it's next week. I wonder why she's doing that now. Weird. Alright, I also needed to see the announcement about the test. Announcements. Announcements. I'll just put my dad. Yes, exam 1. Depression, anxiety a couple of years ago, went to therapy, didn't complete it, but I know my brain feels like it's in a place. They really are weird. Exactly. The goal at this point isn't to be normal, and I think that's a huge thing that I've realized. Because, and this is something that I will talk about, my mom, kind of a bitch. I will be completely honest with this, and I realized this when I went home over break this November and December. I realized that the only reason that in my brain I want to be normal is because that's what she says. She constantly is like saying something about being normal. And I realized that, that's why I constantly, that's why my goal, is that 3 seconds? Yes, it is. Because my goal wasn't to be, my goal wasn't to be happy, it was to get back to being normal. But for me, there will not be a normal. So, I think it definitely is making it so that way I want to send this to my dad as well. But yes, so, oh, why did that? That's gonna make me re-enter everything. Lovely. But yeah, no, the goal is just to be happy, which is it sounds very sad, but like, it's what it is. It is what it is at this point in life. I cannot change it. If I could, I definitely would, but actually, I don't know if I would. I know people always ask about if you could go back, would you change anything about like what you did or how you did something. And the thing is, I don't think I would ever. Because of the fact that like I am the person I am today because of like I'm the person I am today because of like what's happened before, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Okay. Done all your hard work thus far. All done for all of your hard work thus far. Tomorrow's exam 1, just a few details. The exam will be open for a full 24 hours. Oh, solid. So it doesn't even matter. Starting at midnight tonight, it will cover all of the material from the course up until this point. Once open, the exam will take 75 minutes to complete unless you are in the SSD section. I do not have accommodations. The exam will require lockdown browser, which I have. An announcement later today will be sent with instructions on how to download it. A webcam will not be required. Fuck yeah. I hate using lockdown and having to have it be with the stupid fucking lockdown browser. Also, the coordinator for my psych class is in fact British. He's also a PhD student, but like I will admit, his Instagram is not very professional. Also, if you're doing that, you should probably have your Instagram privated if you are a PhD or like doing professional things. Just saying. Damn, I think that's gonna be one of my longest streams that I'm gonna have, or at least one of them. I'm gonna have one tomorrow, obviously. I like this. I like just sitting here and having different people come in and chatting with them. Didn't like one of the people that came in. I don't know. I will admit, I do not understand people sometimes. I won't say his name, just because all of the messages, at least in the chat, were deleted. They were not deleted on the video thing. Wish I was able to do that, but I don't know. I do not understand the point of making gross comments to women on the internet, because I don't think it's gonna work. Like, I don't think saying, hey, would you like an English pig white? That is, like, yeah, oh yeah, definitely, that is, I definitely, that is what's gonna make me want that, definitely. Like, the fuck? My mind is baffled, often. It makes no sense to me why people think that that works. I don't even know if they think that that works. If they did, it's kind of funny if they think that. Just because of the fact that it definitely is not. Regret to inform them, but I don't know. I've never, it never astonishes me at this point how people can be gross. I haven't had that in one of my past streams with two different people literally very close to each other when I was talking about it on stream too, about how gross it was. I don't remember what one of them said. I know the other one asked what color I was, like, underwear I was wearing, I think. Yes, it was. I don't know. I don't understand it. I never will. I don't really want to try to understand. So, but yes, I'm gonna take a small break again before starting on my module 2.2 notes. Experience and feedback on behavior. Exactly. I think possibly that. I think it's also, I don't know. I think it definitely is a way either that they were raised or something else. I don't know. I think it's also, I think it could be wanting validation or something. I don't know. On a side note, Animal Crossing music absolutely slaps. Also, so many people are running for our student body or some shit at my college, and it's so annoying because our chat is just filled with that. Like, that is just so annoying to see. But I don't know. It just, I mean, I guess that's just how life is. I mean, to be fair, that's just how life is for a female. Like, that's something, I mean, not that I should be used to, but like, I kind of am at this point, which really sucks to think about. But like, is life? I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, and I mean, at least it's becoming, more people are becoming more vocal about it, as well as like, it is nice to see other men also stepping up and being like, yo, that's not okay to say. And that's really nice to see also. Just because, I don't know, it's nice to see that people are being held accountable now. Okay, sorry, I just was reading a dumb email. But I definitely agree. We are made up of our experiences and our feedback on behavior. I'm gonna have to start the server for my friend. Open all day tomorrow. I mean, that's good to know, at least, that it's open all day tomorrow. But I don't know. That is life. So, part of me has thought about making it so it's follower-only chat. But I also feel like I would make it so other people won't be able to say anything. So, I don't know. Why did it say rambled? I needed to say rambles. There we go. But yeah. Oh, what I really want to do is place starter right now. But I need to do notes. Hold on, I'm gonna look at files, because I think... Yeah, because it's only 2.1, and I think I just finished that one, didn't I? Yeah, I just finished 2.1, so I only have 2.2 left, and then I have 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. Which that one's gonna be a lot, though. I hope so. I mean, I don't think and this is going to be a very pessimistic view, I do feel like it's never going to die out, just solely because of the fact that that is how life goes. There will always be gross people in the world. I think there's definitely going to be a much smaller amount of people, at least. So, but it also all depends on where you are on the internet. Like on my channel, obviously it's a you are going to get called out for it kind of channel. But like on things like other different, like other maybe subreddits or like 4chan or whatever other sites there definitely are. Sorry, that was the server turning on. There definitely are communities that don't hold each other accountable, I feel. But I mean, that's how life is with anything, though. Which sucks, but meh. Everything from class presentations in the modules. Also know all materials from the textbook, prologue, and chapter 1. Text questions relevant to chapter 2 and portions of 6 will come from class presentations. Does that mean that it's going to be in the lectures? Hopefully. It's beta version. Know everything about and all examples relevant to the following terms and topics. Great. What psychologists do? Drops rule of thirds. Okay, I know that one. Because it's literally the PowerPoint. With the occasional addition. Today's felt like a very long day. I don't know if it has for you, but it has felt like a very long day already for me. Like, it doesn't feel like I've been streaming for 3 hours, or almost 3 hours. It feels like I've been streaming for maybe 5. I don't know why. It just does. Basic and applied psychology. History. Philosophers think that preceded Philosophers/thinkers that preceded the psychologists, the earliest psychologists, psychology labs, their methods, perspectives, philosophical roots, evolution, and behavioral genetics. Don't think I've gotten to that one yet. Different meanings of bias. Well, I have that. The 6 current physiological perspectives. I'm up to date on that one. So I think I'm about to learn about the principles to help you learn and remember SQ3R method from Cook website. What science really is, according to Stuart Firestein in his TED Talk. Oh, so I have to watch more things. Oh, I also have to know about the nervous system. I mean, that's not too bad. I already know some stuff about that, luckily. That also probably will be, hopefully, in some future video. If not, it'll be in the textbook. Oh, if I could visit any country in the world. Probably New Zealand. I really want to go there, although I don't like the massive bugs. They have kiwis. Hello, welcome back, Proud Panda. I think definitely New Zealand. I mean, I've already been to Scotland, Wales, Italy, Norway, Canada. I feel like I'm missing one. I actually haven't been to England, which is kind of surprising, seeing as I've been to both Scotland and Wales. Kind of want to go to Spain as well, but I really want to go to New Zealand. It just seems so pretty and like very fantasy-like, despite the terrifying bugs. No bug needs to be that big. It's scary. Are they in Animal Kingdom Lodge? What the hell? How are you doing, Proud Panda? Welcome back to the stream. I know you joined at the beginning. Hope you're doing good. Still technically studying, taking a small little break. I think it was supposed to snow soon, actually. Wonder if it snowed over the weekend. I can look and see. I have a window. Hold on. It did not snow. It's just raining. It did not snow. It is just raining outside. It's kind of disappointing. Okay. Will I even have room for 2.2? Nah, my fingers slipped. Neurophysics. Well, you're all good. Have a great evening. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It's almost 9 for you. But yes, thank you for the good luck on the exam. Hopefully it should go well. But thank you. Let's go a lot of questions. Okay, so this slide is at least 29 slides. Okay. But yes, have a great night. Sorry, I get distracted. Okay. Let me see if my friend has looked at the review sheet. I think Proud Panda, if you're still here, I think it is just you that moment. Hope you're doing good. I need to respond to my friend. I also need to plug my phone in a second. Because it's gonna die soon. It's at 5%. I'll just show my notes. Working on psych notes. Is there anything I can help? Nope, that needs to be a question mark. Alright, hold on. Let me plug my phone in real quick. Because it's at 5%. I'm sorry, keep going. Hello, I am back. How are y'all doing? Who's in the chat at the moment? Alright, I can turn that up at least. Okay. It's not discussions. What the hell is a valuation kit course? Oh. Modules. We are no longer on week 1, we're on week 2. Module 2.2. Look at us go. We are getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Also, damn, I'm almost 100 followers. Look at that. Almost 100 followers, and I'm almost to my sub goal. I only need one more, which is fucking insane. I don't know how that happened. Okay. Time for more science. And then after that, what do I have to focus on this week? I'm gonna do one of my evaluations for my test I just took. I also have to work on writing an essay. I think my rough draft is due tomorrow. Okay, that's not too bad. Alright. Time to do
right
this.
Right now I want to talk about research methods, and this presentation might run a little bit long, but I will try to be, I think, probably deliberate at first, meaning kind of going at a pretty obviously,
Mm.
if you feel like you're missing something.
Sorry, my phone buzzed. I really need to figure something out with my charging. Also, yes, I do have a stuffed animal. About it. I just enjoy the texture. It helps me focus a little bit. Especially if I get anxious. I run my hands through the fur because it's very textured.
You can
Okay.
listen and then stop and go back and listen again or rewind to review a couple things if I am going too fast. But I want to start by talking about how we even accept ideas as true, and we'll talk about some 1970 just theoretical work by Helmstetter, and I think that will be helpful to
Actually,
us.
hold on. Sorry, I want to open my windows. I want some light. It might be slightly dreary outside, but I at least want some light or something in. Especially because I'm not changing or anything. Look, you can see a tree. Exciting. Okay.
And then I want to talk about what science is, and again, going back to perspectives, which was another presentation I recorded. Um,
Oh, look at us. We're at 3 hours.
Getting at an idea of what science
Fucking
means.
fog.
What is science? There's actually, I think, some perspective there as well. And then I'll talk about some examples of thinking about the scientific method as it pertains to psychology. So, to me, it's an obvious statement to say that psychology is a science, and hopefully that will be obvious to you, or is already obvious to you, or will be once we kind of get an idea of what science is. But I also admit that a lot of times people think they sort of intuitively know about psychology, so it might sort of seem like common sense. I don't think it is, but we'll kind of talk about that relationship a little bit, and then we'll discuss the scientific method as a method of observation, hypothesis, design, analysis, and conclusion. And
Oh,
I
I
won't
remember
talk
that.
a lot about analysis, which is really statistical analysis. We have a whole class for that. Our research methods is class. I'm sorry. Our research methods class is called Principles of Psychological Research.
I hope I don't have to
Many
do any
departments, at
math
least
with
5
this
or 6 on
class.
campus, have standalone classes on methods. So analysis, which we won't talk about much, and conclude, which we won't talk about much, but I will at least touch on those. Okay, accepting ideas is true. Uh, and I think this is important in the current situation in the United States, in that I think it's problematic, and I think many people think it's problematic, that some people believe things that are not true. And I think
Ooh,
they
that
believe
is
things
very
that are
true.
not true and can be falsified, can be proven to be untrue. And so that's a little bit disturbing. Why do we hold on to ideas that are true when in fact they are false? So then we have to get at, well, what do we what is truth, or how do we individually arrive at something that we decide is truth? So let's talk about that a little bit. How do we know what we know? And I think this is an important
That
component
is
of
a
a
good
college
question.
education. I would rarely dispute a belief you have, and say, oh, that's just totally wrong, and you have to think about something this way. But I do think an important part of college is some kind of a metacognition, kind of getting all of us to realize, why do we believe what we believe? Not just
I
what is
agree with
the
that.
answer, but how did I arrive at that answer? Why do I think the way I do? Why do I believe that this is true or that is true? All right, so I'm going to give you some questions. Some of them pretty straightforward. Some of them maybe not answerable. And I don't really care what the answer is. What I care about is this kind of based on. So I think, or I know the answer to this is blank, but what I really care about is based on this. So here are just some questions I came up with. Oh shoot, I'm not gonna answer. I'm gonna ask the second one in a different way. I changed it. I'm sorry. So, first question, how do you get to Squires from Burris? I was going to ask, are VT football games fun, but I changed a later slide. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, what's the question? Is the Virginia Tech football team going to have a winning? No, are they going to go to a bowl game this coming year? Is Virginia Tech football team going to go to a bowl game? That's the question I will ask. Why or why not?
What does that
Does God
mean?
exist? How can I lower my cholesterol? And then finally, if you drop a textbook and paper clip simultaneously, which will hit the ground first? Okay, so I want to know, not really what those answers are, but we'll talk about them later.
I like how it goes from straightforward, how do you get from this place to this place?
So you might want to
How can I lower my cholesterol? Fucking how does God exist?
I know you can tell me how to get to Squires from
That
Burris
is.
Hall. Squires Student Center from Burris Hall. I'm not really worried about.
That is a hefty question, which is actually one of my classes I'm taking. It's not in reality. Full philosophy course about that.
Virginia Tech football will get to a bowl game this year. How do you know whether or not God exists? How do you know whether what gives you information on lowering of cholesterol? And then this last one again. I bet you know. I bet you all can get the right answer, but how do you know it? How did you learn?
I feel like a textbook would because it's heavier, so it'll fall faster because it has larger gravity.
I'll come back to those questions
Right.
in several minutes. But first, I want to talk about this idea of when do I think you can trust information, and when should we be more cautious? So first of all, in terms of experience and knowledge, I think for sure, and I hope this is obvious, if you have observed something firsthand, I saw this happen, then that to me is automatically better than taking someone else's word for it. Okay? And then and to me, taking someone else's word for it is secondhand information. I did not observe this myself.
Yeah, wait, I need to pause this. First-hand experience is better. Second-hand. To you. However, second-hand information varies. I mean, that makes sense why it would vary. Chat is quiet now. All is quiet now. So, I feel like it wouldn't be better though to have information from like trusted friends or stuff, just because I feel like it could be skewed. Is the only thing. I don't know, this is something I always talk about. Not as good. I like to hear both sides of the story often. Just because I know things can get skewed. Either that or maybe I have trust issues. Who knows? The world may never know. TV. Magazine ads. Someone with an agenda, you know. Who would think that they wouldn't have reliable information? I never would have thought.
I know it's true from something that I read or something that I heard. But even then, that's secondhand information, something I read or something that I heard. That's okay.
Back a little more.
But we have to think about sources of that information. So, was I told this by my doctor? Was I told this by my parents or maybe my spouse? Was it told by a good friend of mine who doesn't tend to BS me, right? And really kind of.
I also forget I'm in a college course. I forget that they curse and shit.
I have to worry a little bit.
So different.
And I would say not as good of a source of secondhand information is certainly social media, and I think that's a huge part of the problem of people believing something to be true that is not.
That is true.
Some television, thinking about different ways that I might get news, in not just that the sources are good or bad, but the sources might touch on news stories very quickly, right? So I get I get a teaser if I'm watching television news.
Oh yeah, that
I
is
get a
true. The way
teaser,
they
so
do it
I
is very
stay
weird.
through commercials, and the teaser is about 15 seconds, and then the news story is maybe 45 seconds. Have I
Exactly.
really learned much? Can I easily misinterpret it? And I probably haven't learned much. And yeah, I probably can easily misinterpret it. And that's not saying anything about some news sources being biased. Many news sources, most news sources being biased. Magazine advertisements. Someone who is making money off of what I might believe to be true or not true. Okay, that becomes.
That is
I should be
also true.
skeptical. That becomes somewhat difficult or to me a little bit anxiety provoking. Let's think more
That's a lot of
specifically
messages.
about how do we accept information as true and how do we trust information sources or decide to be skeptical about certain information sources. All right, so I know I'm digging back
Okay.
into the past and kind of getting at maybe sort of a philosophical approach to understanding science, and that's really what the first half of this presentation is.
Hmm. Actually, I
Helmstead
guess that's fair.
talked about 6 ways of accepting ideas as true, being able to say that, yes, I believe that this is true. And I will illustrate these, but let me just go over the 6. So one that I definitely want you to know, and I think is rampant, so rampant today, is
Tenacity. So what is tenacity is the question. Tenacity is a willingness to accept ideas as valid. Okay. Accept ideas as valid. Because they have been accepted so long or repeat. Oh, okay. Been accepted so long or repeated. Or repeated so often they seem true. You can do that to yourself, surprisingly enough. Okay. You actually can convince yourself of a lie if you say it enough.
something is true or valid or correct.
Just so you know.
Because I've heard it often. I've just heard it over and over and over again. And maybe I heard it recently because social media tends to spread things like wildfire. Or maybe I've heard it often over time because something is just kind of, it's just in the, I don't want to say, in the knowledge base. And so I hear it repeated. Second, intuition or common.
Here, wait. I want to put an example for that one. So, like, social media. Saying it's true. I'm trying to think of something. Oh, I could just fucking put Facebook. The next one, intuition. Oh, that one is always such a hard one to trust. I don't know about y'all. I mean, I've started to trust my gut more recently, actually. Nope, that's the wrong little notation things to use. Accepting ideas as valid. Accepting ideas as valid. Valid because they're because they feel intuitively true. Feel intuitively true. So for this one, we're gonna put, also like bad vibes from somebody. Or what's his example? We'll give.
Something is true or right or correct because it makes sense to me. It conforms with my reason. It feels right. Okay, and then third, authority. I believe that something is true or I accept something as correct.
I'm sorry, I have to move things around on my computer screen. How are we all doing? Authority. I don't always trust that one. It's kind of bad. Authority. Accepting ideas as valid because some respected authority asserts that they are true. So that's like, I'm not gonna say anything. Accepting ideas are true. As valid. As valid because some respected authority I need to fix my posture. Fuck. Authority asserts that they are true. And then these three are called uncritical acceptance. I'm gonna flip this and write it this way because that's how you're supposed to. Uncritical acceptance. My handwriting's horrible.
Because some respected authority figure to me says that it's true. And what would be authority? Well, authority in this day and age, authority could be, I think for all of us, almost all of us, family members, parents, maybe grandparents. Authority could be for some clergy, so minister in a church. Authority to some, but certainly less often now than we were in the 1950s or 1960s. Authority could be politicians, but I think a lot of Americans are cynical to the point that politicians are almost like the opposite of authority. But so authority is something that we might differ in who we decide as an authority figure. Or you might have authority. I like to believe people. Different people for different questions or contexts, right? I believe I have a mechanic or two who I trust with my car, and so I will believe them when it comes to that stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it's not like I ask them questions about faith or things relating to my health care, right? So there's authority. Now, according to Helmstetter, and I agree, these are ways of accepting ideas as true that are uncritical. It doesn't mean that we should never use them. And I think we often use our intuition, and we probably all think, I bet most people, most everybody thinks that they have a good sense of common sense, good intuition.
I do not have
It
good
doesn't mean that we
intuition, I
all
feel
do.
sometimes.
And I don't even or intuition on other things. Um, but all of these are relative to the other three that I'm going to talk about. These are uncritical. We just it's in a sense lazy. We don't think about it. We don't poke it with a stick. We just say, okay, it's true because of this or because of that, because I've heard it, or because someone I respect told me this
Okay.
is true. We got to be careful and realize where our sources of accepting ideas come from. Now, moving on and getting into, I think, what Helmstetter would be more comfortable with, we can accept
Rationalism. Reason. Ooh, we do love ourselves a sense of reason. Process that develops valid ideas using existing ideas and principles. Ideas and principles of logic, not just principles. So if A is part of B and B is part of C, then A must be part of C. Okay, so that makes sense then. Is part of B and B is part of C, then A must be part of C. That makes sense. That's like the whole, every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square.
And it's really not the same as common sense, because we're actually using real principles of logic in addition to our common sense to accept ideas as true.
So it's like common sense plus reason.
Ideas that are true or valid statements because we have existing true ideas and we can use principles of logic. So, for example, if an example of a principle of logic that's pretty simple reasoning. If A is part of B and B is part of C, then A must be part of C, right? So uh, um, if the Buffalo Bills are in the AFC and all teams in the AFC are football teams, American, professional football teams, then the Buffalo Bills must be an American professional football team. Rationalism. There's empiricism. Empiricism is
by observing events around us. Oh, that makes sense. Empiricism. Getting knowledge by observing events around us.
observation.
So give an example.
And I would say too, for scientists, empiricism is also the recording of observation. But I think empiricism really, if you had one word, it's observation. So I learn that things are true or valid or correct because I've actually seen it or touched it or heard it firsthand or felt it. And I think I have a really good friend who is very pregnant now, and baby's going to be a boy. And this little boy, as soon as he can start experiencing the world, he's going to be basically an empiricist. Babies are like the best empiricists. They gain knowledge about the
Okay.
grabbing things, by shoving stuff in their mouth.
That is true.
And so
It's kind of funny.
they observe through those senses. And of course something's true. Something is hot or cold, or is edible or not edible, etc. Or grabbable, not grabbable, by experiencing it, by actually interacting with it
You could
firsthand.
tie that into
And then
behaviorism of
finally,
things
we
are
have
bad
science.
if you
And
get yelled
science
at.
is a combination
I'm
of
connecting
rationalism.
things.
I think the rationalism and
I like how science is its own little thing in this list. Science combines rationalism. Combines rationalism with empiricism. With empiricism. I can speak. Empiricism. Using rationalism to develop tentative statements. Rationalism to develop. So that is your hypothesis. Okay. Develop tentative statements. Use that as a hypothesis. And empiricism to test them. So that is your design for an experiment. To test them. So I'll just put scientific method. Okay, so I now see that this is firmer bias for accepting information. Oh, that is true. I just tried to spell firmer. F-I-M. Ooh. Firmer bias for accepting information. Which makes sense, just because of the fact that, like, to actually become a theory, it has to go through a million different experiments.
Hypotheses, and I'll talk about hypotheses in several minutes. And then we use empiricism, the observations, to test those hypotheses. And I would say that these are, as Homestetter says, firmer bases for accepting ideas as true. That if I can
Nope, that's not bias, it's basis.
That I believe something because of it came from science.
I can read.
And it doesn't mean that all science is fact, and we'll get to that in just a moment. I'm not trying to put science on some kind of pedestal, but I think the process of doing science is solid, and it's trustworthy, and I think it's important for us to the basic idea of giving you this information is that we have to recognize.
I already have a bunch of notes.
Why we believe what we believe, and to some degree,
proud of myself.
Going back to a previous presentation, recognizing when we have biases about what we believe. I think if we accept things based on empiricism and science and reason, I think we are less prone to indulging our biases and ending up believing things and holding on to things that
my test is multiple choice.
Let me give a couple examples. And I'm gonna label answers to the strategy that might be used to answer a particular question, but there are perhaps some other correct answers. But I think I'm covering this fairly thoroughly. But you might come up with some
tenacities are willing to accept things because they've been accepted so long.
To these questions. So, how do you get to Squires from Burris? Well, if you've done it, I mean, I think we're really talking about empiricism. I observed this.
Alright, I'm gonna let this little part play through, and I'm gonna grab my phone and see the messages real quick.
I know the answer. Will the Virginia Tech football team make it to a bowl game? I changed what was on the earlier slides. I apologize for that mistake. Why or why not? Well, it's possible,
Grab it.
like if I listen to radio interviews that talk about the football team, or if I'm on the social media sites for the Virginia Tech football team, maybe I might say yes or no, or be cynical or optimistic based on what I hear. But I also, if I know something about the past year, right, I might be, and I know something about which players are coming back and which are not because they've graduated or whatever. Maybe there's some empiricism there. And then I could also use, I think, some principles of logic to make some predictions from one year to the next. The one reason I changed this to this kind of prediction thing is I think it's important to also recognize that a lot of questions that
To let go.
people commonly talk about or statements they make are really probabilistic, right? So how likely is it that I'm going to get the flu this year, let's say? What are my chances of getting the flu if I got the flu shot versus if I didn't get the flu shot? Well, you can't say with 100. You certainly can't say with 100% certainty whether you will get it or not, regardless of whether you got the shot or not. But the chances might change. These are probabilities, and I think a lot of things that we care about are probabilistic.
Sorry, I'm responding to
And
the
we might
Snapchats
not
real
always
quick.
recognize it as such. Well, does God exist? Or maybe this is a very straightforward question, obviously a hard one maybe to answer for many, but we could even get into more um, specific questions, like if you had a group of people who agreed on that this was true, yeah, sure, God exists, we all agree, all right, fine, then we might have other questions that could get more specific, like did God create the world in 7 days as is stated in the Bible? And that might be something that could
I
be
should
an
respond.
additional question regarding, or an additional question where we might rely on authority, intuition, reason, etc. But even the simple question, does God exist? Well, maybe my belief or disbelief would be based on what my parents think, and certainly our religious beliefs are heavily influenced by our parents and what faith we prescribe to or
First
regard
Nation
in
roadmap
ways
event.
that
What?
does tend to stay
Oh,
consistent
that's after
over the
graduation. Why
life
am I getting after
consistent with
graduation
my
ones when
parents'
I'm
belief
literally a
system.
freshman?
So maybe authority gives me the answer here. Maybe it's my own
Explain that to me.
common sense that gives me an answer here, or maybe I'm going to kind of reason it out through logical inference. What else?
Whoever my
How
one
do I
viewer is,
lower
I
my
really
cholesterol?
appreciate you.
Well,
Stated at least one viewer
maybe
the entire
I hear
time.
about things over
So
and
if you've
over
been here
again
the
through
entire
social
time,
media, so we have tenacity.
just know I
Certainly
appreciate you.
ask our doctors. There's certainly
That's definitely an authority
rationale,
one, I
reason,
feel, like listening
principle,
to a
logic
doctor.
that can work here for sure. There might be some empiricism. I don't think can be just empiricism because, again, lowering cholesterol, we're kind of prognosticating, right? We're looking ahead and we're maybe thinking about some things probabilistically. So that might be a little bit tricky. But to some degree, I might be able to say, well, I've observed that I tried a high fiber diet and my cholesterol went down. But that's not really just I observed this. There's some inference as well here. But I think empiricism and observation can be part of the answer to this question.
Well,
Okay, and then
we're
if you
thoroughly
drop a
enjoying
textbook and a
notes.
paperclip simultaneously, which will hit the ground first? And the answer is, well, they should hit the ground at the same time. Uh, and maybe I know that because a physics teacher told me, or maybe I actually saw it in a demonstration, or maybe I've actually read about the science a bit, and so I understand it through science. Let's move on.
Yes,
I still want
let's.
to stay in kind of the realm of
Oh,
philosophy of
okay.
science. What are we really doing when we're taking a scientific approach? I'm going to
Wait.
give you 4 statements here. What is science? And I want to know. I want to tell you my thoughts
We're
on.
gonna have to do the fucking empiricism tentative. Yes, we are. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense to practice what you're learning. Oh, the music stopped. Sorry, I just realized that. I knew it was coming. I have another queued up for this. It was... Where did it go? I just saw it. What the fuck? I literally just saw this. It was New Horizon entire... Hold on. There we go. Wow, there are a lot. Okay.
How good or maybe not good these statements are. I think some people might agree with each of these, but I'm going to give you sort of my take on it. What is science? Maybe someone might say, well, it's what we've proven about a particular.
Okay, we're gonna write these down. It is what we have proven. This feels very much like a philosophy course and not a psychology course at the moment. But a particular idea. Idea or subject. It is an accumulation of facts or body of knowledge. Oh, I kind of like that one. It's a horrible definition of it, but like, I like it. It is well, not it is an accumulation of facts or body or knowledge. Knowledge. Oh wait, I need to be spacing these out. Fuck. No. I hate when you're erasing and you accidentally grab part of the page. It sucks. It is... I'm rewriting that one again. Accumulation facts. Then it's been quiet. If anybody's in the chat, you're allowed to talk. I will gladly take a break and chat with you. Very gladly, actually. It is a specific method used to obtain knowledge. Kind of curious what the test is going to look like. I miss having practice tests. Like, I didn't even have many of those in high school, but we had one for my chem class last semester, and I miss it. Usually through experimentation. I'm gonna like do a little indent, and then we have the very last one. It is a method of exploration that strives to ask better. Okay.
Subject. specific method. Ooh, I like the word method. Method used to obtain knowledge,
Question.
usually through experimentation. I'm not sure if it's usually, but yeah, I
My
like
hand
that.
is hurting.
I like that a lot. It's a method of
Oh,
exploration
you
that
don't take
strives
your
to
notes
ask
on the very
better
last day.
and more sophisticated questions. I like that a lot. So let's expand on this a little bit. So I don't like this first one. It's what we've proven. I don't like the word proven because that also that to
Stagnant.
me implies that once something has been discovered or proven, nothing else is going to undo it later. And I
That's
don't think
fair.
that's true. Even the what's it called the constant for the acceleration due to gravity, that's changed. That was modified probably between 10 and 20 years ago. Just a little, it's tweaked.
We need
Something
to
that I would
know
accept as just sort of obvious.
how we arrived at these
But
facts.
the method is a critical method, and so we have to recognize that science is fluid. It changes. So this first one I don't like. It seems stagnant. It seems like there's a goal that we go toward, and I don't think that's true. I'm not sure I like that. Somewhat similarly, although I like the second statement better, accumulation of facts or body of knowledge. Sure, I think through science we get a bit smarter and we understand things a bit more fully with each passing year. But I don't think it's that we're ever done. I don't think we come to a set of facts. I think it's a buildup of facts and interpretations for how to understand things that we observe and that we record. I like the third one. Scientific method to obtain knowledge. Yeah, sure. I like it. And usually through experimentation. Well, I guess it depends on the kind of scientist you are, what field you work in. I like it. Seems a little just simplified, but yeah, I like this statement a lot. And I really like this one. It's a method of exploration that strives toward higher quality ignorance. Which is going to get me to a video I'd like you guys to watch.
Nope, we're gonna
So,
watch a
what do
video
we mean by that? Higher quality ignorance. Well,
together.
we're getting at asking better questions, asking more sophisticated questions. And I think part of my thinking regarding philosophy of science is probably obvious to you at this point, is that we should be critical of ourselves. We should be humble, I think, in interpreting the world and figuring out what we know versus what we're really not sure about. And it would be nice if we could be a little bit more comfortable in our uncertainty. I think a lot of people like being certain about stuff and get maybe nervous if they're not certain. And so in the scientific field, and I think in our lives in general, it's great when we can be okay or
Okay.
somewhat satisfied with uncertainty. So science is trying to get toward what Firestein's going to say is kind of better ignorance, higher quality ignorance. That really just means asking more sophisticated questions. I'm going to ask you on your own to watch part of a TED Talk, most of a TED Talk, that's called The Pursuit of Ignorance, and it's by Stuart Firestein. And I'd like you to start right around minute 1, so you could skip the first 50 to 60 seconds, and stop a little after minute 11, so minute 11, 15 seconds. I believe last thing I really care about, he just talks about asking a lot of questions. One thing I want you to answer from this video, and you might get tested on, is just what's a really good analogy for science? Again, according to him.
Do I want to take these in the middle of this thing? Yep, we're gonna do that. Pursuit of ignorance. I feel like it's going to be an expanding ripple in water. I have a feeling that that is the thing that is going to be. What did they say in it? Okay, so I have to skip ahead to 1 minute. am I 6 minutes into this? Have I watched this before? Possibly. That is something I would do.
Ordered mechanism for understanding the world, for gaining facts, for gaining data, that it's rule-based, that scientists use this thing called the scientific method, and we've been doing this for 14 generations or so now. And the scientific method is a set of rules for getting hard, cold facts out of the data. I'd like to tell you that's not the case. So there's the scientific method, but what's really going on is this. And it's going on kind of like that. So, so what is the difference then between the way I believe science is pursued and the way it seems to be perceived? So this difference first came to me in some ways in my dual role at Columbia University, where I'm both a professor and run
So I'm watching what I think science is and what it really is in
where we try and
practice.
figure out how the brain works. We do this by studying the sense of smell, the sense of olfaction. And in the laboratory, it's a great pleasure and fascinating work and exciting to work with graduate students and postdocs and think up cool experiments to understand how this sense of smell works and how the brain might be working. And, well, frankly, it's kind of exhilarating. But at the same time, it's my responsibility to teach a large course to undergraduates on the brain. And that's a big subject, and it takes quite a while to organize
Very
that.
big subject.
And it's quite challenging, and it's quite interesting. But I have to say, it's not so exhilarating. So what was the difference? Well, the course I was and am teaching is called Cellular and Molecular Neuroscience 1. It's 25 lectures full of all sorts of facts.
That could be
Uses
fun.
this giant book
Whoa.
called Principles of Neuroscience by 3 famous neuroscientists. This book comes in at 1,414 pages.
That's a lot of
It weighs a
pages.
hefty 7.5 pounds.
Oh,
Just to
Jesus.
put that in some perspective, that's the weight of 2 normal human brains.
Hmm.
So I began to realize by the end of this course that the students maybe were getting the idea that we must know everything there is to know about the brain. That's clearly not true. And they must also have this idea, I suppose, that what scientists do
Yeah.
is collect data and collect facts and stick them in these big books. And that's not really the case either. When I go to a meeting, after the meeting day is over and we collect in the bar over a couple of beers with my colleagues, we never talk about what we know. We talk about what we don't know. We talk about what still has to get done, what's so critical to get done in the lab. Indeed, this was, I think, best said by Marie Curie, who said that one never notices what has been done, but only what remains to be done. This was in a letter to her brother after
That's fair.
obtaining her second graduate degree, I should say.
Damn.
I have to point out, this has always been one of my favorite pictures of Marie Curie because I'm convinced that that glow behind her is not a photographic effect. That's the real thing. It is true that her papers are to this day.
Wish I had that much motivation to do a million different degrees. It'd be smart.
Room that's lead lined, and if you're a scholar and you want access to these notebooks, you have to put on a full radiation hazmat suit. So it's pretty scary business.
And
Nonetheless,
they are
this
very
is what I think
irradiated,
we
so
were leaving out
irradiated.
of our courses and leaving out of the interaction that we have with the public as scientists, to what remains to be done. This is the stuff that's exhilarating and interesting. It is, if you will, the ignorance. That's what was missing. So I thought, well, maybe I should teach a course on ignorance. Something I can finally excel at, perhaps, for example. So I did start teaching this course on ignorance, and it's been quite interesting. And I'd like to tell you to go to the website. You can find all sorts of information there. It's wide open, and it's been really quite an interesting time for me to meet up with other scientists who come in and talk about what it is they don't know. Now, I use this word ignorance, of course, to be at least in part intentionally provocative, because ignorance has a lot of bad connotations, and I clearly don't mean any of those. So I don't mean stupidity. I don't mean a callow indifference to fact or reason or data. The ignorant are clearly unenlightened, unaware, uninformed, and present company today, except that often occupy elected offices, it seems to me. That's another story, perhaps. I mean a different kind of ignorance. I mean a kind of ignorance that's less pejorative, the kind of ignorance that comes from a communal gap in our knowledge, something that's just not there to be known or isn't known well enough yet or we can't make predictions from. The kind of ignorance that's maybe best summed up in a statement by James Clerk Maxwell, perhaps the greatest physicist between Newton and Einstein, who said, "Thoroughly conscious ignorance is the prelude to every real advance in science." I think it's a wonderful idea, thoroughly conscious ignorance. So that's the kind of
Hmm.
ignorance that I want to talk about today. But of course, the first thing we have to clear up is what are we going to do with all those facts? So it is true that science piles up at an alarming rate. We all have this sense that
That is
science is
true.
this mountain of facts, this accumulation
Definitely feels
model
like it
of science,
sometimes.
as many have called it. And it seems impregnable. It seems impossible. How can you ever know all of this? And indeed, the scientific literature grows at an alarming rate. In 2006, there were 1.3 million papers published. There's about a 2.5% yearly growth
Wow.
rate. And so last year we saw over 1.5 million papers being published. Divide that by the number of minutes in a year, and you wind up with 3 new papers per minute. So I've been up here a little over 10 minutes. I've already
Holy
lost 3
shit.
papers. I have to get out of here, actually. I have to go read. So what do we do about this? Well, the fact is that what scientists do about it is a kind of a controlled neglect, if you will. We just don't worry about it in a way. The
Hmm.
facts are important. You have to know a lot of stuff to be a scientist. That's true. But knowing a lot of stuff doesn't make you a scientist. You need to know a lot of stuff to be a lawyer or an accountant or an electrician or a carpenter. But in science, knowing a lot of stuff is not the point. Knowing a lot of stuff is there to help you get to more ignorance. So knowledge is a big subject, but I would say ignorance is a bigger one. So this leads us to maybe think about a
Chill.
little bit about some of the models of science that we tend to use. And I'd like to disabuse you
Hmm.
of some of them. So one of them, a popular one, is that scientists are patiently putting the pieces of a puzzle together to reveal some grand scheme or another. This is clearly not true. For one, with puzzles, the manufacturer has guaranteed that there's a solution.
That is true.